No, I don't think I saw that.
Grandpa has one.
Oh,
Grandpa
really?
Simpson, yeah. He was in the military or whatever, had the hellfish or whatever. And he's like, he has to show it off and then, like, stretch it out.
There's going to be a lot of people, like, our age when we grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I ever got a tattoo, I want something that I could do something cool like that. Like once I'm all wrinkly, then I have to stretch it, or like
So
it
like-
looks
like the
like
Simpsons?
transforms or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Something like when you bend the arm, it's like something
Yeah.
else, and it's like, yeah, check this out.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. You better give the disclaimer already, and then I'll tell you about it. Okay. There was this man who got a tattoo of money, and he's like, want to watch my money grow? And then, money grow. You get it? I don't want to. Can you imagine how painful that tattoo must have been, though?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
But, I mean, that was his party trick. So, whatever. To each their own.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, because he does give a disclaimer right now.
We hear topics from politics, social media, academia, friends and family. You wonder about yours and their mentality. Our thoughts and actions aren't in conjunction and realize there may be an obstruction. The sky appears a different shade of blue when we realize we may be in the shadow of an eclipsed view. Let's start. Welcome to Eclipsed Views, where we see what it would take to change our own views. Take difficult topics and try to identify what's blocking our view. Try to unlearn, rewash, and rewire our brains, since we don't seem to have much luck changing other people's views. This is for self-help through Kaizen, a Japanese term for improvement in small increments. And here's the disclaimer. Some hard and difficult topics. If you are easily offended, this may not be for you. There are sometimes some hard topics, some hard truths, and if you're not ready for it, I suggest you revisit at a later time when you do feel more prepared.
Cool.
I am Sal,
I'm Veronica.
and today our guest is...
Chuko Chamuko.
Which, he actually has a first name where we just learned last week, too. Thought that was on your birth certificate. Just kidding.
Yeah, my government name is Gabriel C. Rodriguez.
Very nice. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for the
Yes.
invite. Thank you
He's
for
a
the
celebrity.
invite. I wish.
Ugh.
So, we typically like to save our occupations and stuff, even though you're already, if people already know who you are, then that's kind of pointless. But we tend to reveal the occupations later, mostly because we want everyone to have the unbias of the listener, that we're all citizens and colleagues, professionals, consumers, friends, family, teachers, learners, and just human beings first over any labels we put on each other. So I'll leave that at the end. I got into this through street epistemology, a mode of Socratic questioning. So how did you come to that stance? Are those reasons legitimate enough to continue to hold that stance? Or is it just conjecture, forming an opinion based on incomplete information? How do you know when you have enough evidence to form an opinion? And how aware are you, or biases, how aware are you of your inclinations? Does it make it right or wrong, or just your own? And the topic we have today is finding purpose versus finding happiness. And why did you usually let our guests choose the topic? And you said there was a lot, but we finally narrowed it down to some. Why did you choose this one, or at least the ones we came down to?
I guess it came down to how we ran across each other at the Comic-Con. I feel like, as I was telling you earlier, I had a purpose in life, and it was to do like everything that I could, like in the military and at work and stuff, stuff that I did early in my life. And I thought that's where my happiness was until I discovered art. Of course, it took a whole journey to get to that point. But once I found that happiness, I almost found like a new purpose. So I guess in a way, for me, it combined the two. My purpose was to find my happiness. So when I saw finding purpose versus finding happiness, it was like, wow, it's kind of like they were at odds with each other early in my life. and now they're together in this point of my life, you know. So yeah, that was pretty much it. I mean, I could go deeper and stuff, you know. It's a deep rabbit hole.
It is. So that's typically, so that's kind of the format, and I'll show you the thing that's in the next one. So yeah, so we'll pose different scenarios to you, and that's what these little cards are for. And we'll give it on a scale of 1 to 10. And then, so it's supposed to be gut instinct, like just based on the scenario, based on how little you know about the scenario. Just give it your gut instinct on a scale of 1 to 10. And then after the scenarios, we'll discuss it and then see if at the end, if your position changed at all. So if you were at a 2 before, maybe now you're at a 5 or so on and so on. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right. Cool. So here's our first scenario. If you are running your own business and you need to hire staff, you value maturity. One applicant is 25 years of age and has lived on their own since they were 18. The other applicant is also 25 but still lives with their parents. On a scale of 1 to 10, who do you think may be a more mature applicant? 1, the one that lives with his parents, or 10, the one that lives on their own? And on this one, we'll try to say no 5, so like try to lean on one way or the other. All right, ready?
Yes.
I get to show our answers. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got an 8.
7.
8.
All right. Cool. We'll leave it at that for now, and then we'll come back and discuss.
You gonna write them down?
Oh, that's right. That would be useful. This one isn't letting me.
So my dad lives with us. That's the truck that was parked in the front. That's who you heard leaving.
Oh, okay.
Because you're like, sound is out there.
I know.
We heard.
I believe you're going through
There's
someone's breaking in.
and they're using the front door.
Yeah. This guy with a ski mask. I don't think it was that cold outside.
We don't live in Denver. You good?
Me?
788. 887.
Wait. Yours was 8?
Yes.
And Vero?
7. 87.
And mine?
8. As it's
All right.
still written there.
Dang it. Did we bring anything to erase or no?
I didn't. Oh, there's tissue right there.
Toilet paper?
Well, it's advertised as tissue paper, so.
Why is
Paper
that a
to not
thing?
get
Like,
your hands dirty.
did it get? Which one came first? Was it toilet paper first or tissue paper first?
I don't know.
Because isn't tissue paper the other, like the gift bag one?
Ah.
That is true.
You know, all I know is that they were releasing they released a picture of the inventor of toilet paper, whoever invented it, and they showed how it was supposed to be. So it's supposed to be over or under.
Then how was it?
It's over.
Ah, that's what I thought.
Nice. Debate is settled.
The only reason I think why I would use under is if you have a kid or a cat that's like and they try to undo it, you know?
Yeah.
But otherwise,
I think they would still do it.
Do you have a cat?
Yes. But she's very well behaved.
Well, that's good.
she doesn't do toilet paper tricks.
I've heard
No, she doesn't.
the she's are better behaved than the male cats.
Yeah, Max is a little wild, but the kitty, all she does is sleep. She just wants to be left alone and sleep. And sometimes she sleeps next to me as I'm drawing. I look over, I see a little black corpse just right there, and I was like,
Oh.
All right, next one. So this one's more. This one we will allow 5. So, do you think 1 being does having purpose find happiness, or 10 does happiness give you purpose, and then 5 they're both the same thing?
ooh.
Huh?
I don't like the way it's worded.
Why?
Because I have opinions.
That's
Does
great.
Yeah,
having
what's the
purpose find happiness? Does happiness give you purpose? They're both the same thing.
No, because it's also like the content.
Okay,
Purpose.
let's write it down.
All right, yeah.
Let's write our number. La, la, la.
I'm gonna go all the way on this
Sal.
one.
You're gonna go all the way on now. Ready?
Yes.
No?
I don't know! Because I keep reading it
Wait.
and reading it.
Oh,
So we're starting
yeah,
to-
you're right.
Ugh,
Hold on.
okay. I don't feel this.
So we started doing it in cards because we started
We would
being...
all influence
Well, you
each
said
other.
each other's,
you said gut, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll stick with what I originally put. Okay.
Okay, let's
Gut.
just do it. Yeah, okay.
You did it?
Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Whoa! Okay.
3. Oh,
Okay. Okay.
all right.
We're all on the same
Yeah, we started doing
perspective. I don't know.
the cards because we would
Oh, it
just
made
say
me
them at
nervous.
first. We realized we started being influenced by each other's. So if I was like the last one and I heard like if there's 4 of us like and I heard you two first and I tend to like be influenced or
Yeah.
whoever went last was starting to be influenced by the others. So we're like, now let's do it blank. And so we did start getting some like all over the place. So like, interesting. Interesting.
That one made me nervous, and I had to drink water.
Yeah, that one was a little nerve wracking. And it's funny because I just explained like what I was thinking, but now it's like now I'm at odds with it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one messed me up.
All right, scenario 3.
Kevin,
Oops.
he's not here today.
But there, that was copy and pasted.
I'll
Run
be
the wrong
Kevin.
one.
I'll be Kevin. I like that you changed your voice.
All right. Oh, I didn't change this last one, or it didn't update or something. What the heck?
Are we not doing a scenario 3?
No, it was, but I didn't. Oh, okay. I think I only wrote it down in my other one here.
Woo! There it is.
Yeah, here it is.
You're like, I want to answer that one too.
I'll still be Kevin.
I'll still be.
Yo, what's up?
Oops. Okay, I can delete
So dad jokes, huh?
them.
My dad has a bunch of these in like the toilet.
Your dad is
Yeah.
so nice.
Yeah, he's funny. He's my pops. It wasn't always like that. We used to get our asses handed to us. Yeah, growing up. But I mean, we were, I guess, like testy kids too, you know. Me being the lifelong habitual line pusher, you know, you tend to see what the borders are, you know, and early in life, it's like, yeah, there was some spankings in there, you know.
Get your ass to the military.
Yeah, exactly. Where I perfected the skill of
Pushing the line.
pushing the line.
All right, so here we go. I'll explain about this one later too. So, how similar are animals to humans? Do animals need purpose as much as humans do? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being no, they do not, and 10, yes, they do.
Does it depend on the animal?
I guess let's go.
You could use whatever animal you're thinking of.
Yeah,
Well, cat,
Yeah.
sure. I was gonna say let's go mammals.
Mammals.
mammals in
mammals.
general.
Sure.
This is that cats are a whole different species.
They kind of are, huh? Damn it! Why do you do this to my brain? Before this, I forgot how hard podcasts are.
I'll add Jeopardy music into it. Just kidding. Ready?
Yes.
All right, 1, 2, 4. Just kidding.
4, 6, 7.
Interesting.
Okay.
See, I would have been influenced before, but now I am not. I'm just gonna be
Yet.
sound like a jerk.
That's okay. You're used to it.
Those are useless animals.
What's yours?
7.
Yours was
6.
6.
Put them all to sleep.
That's the most humane thing that some people could do, I think.
Yeah, those poor animals.
Some of them struggle. Oh.
Yes, they do.
So, few questions to think about that I usually like to is how easily do you think you're able to change your opinions? How aware are you of your biases when forming opinions? And pretty much what's blocking your view, so what's keeping you from changing your opinion? And those are just general questions, you don't have to end, but that's just to kind of keep in mind. And then, so we looked up the definitions of purpose and happiness. Purpose, I don't know if this is the same one you kind of came across, but this is one I found that said something set up as an object or an end to be attained, so like intention. Then happiness is a state of well-being and contentment, so like joy, I guess, a pleasurable or satisfying experience. Is that the definition we all had in mind about what these words meant, or anyone have it slightly different?
Yeah, for the most part, pleasure or satisfying experience, state of well-being. I think the best one is probably joy, because a state of well-being, a person can be healthy and not be happy.
True. Okay.
Contentment, somebody could just be content with life and not be happy also. But true happiness is like joy. But I guess joy would be just a like
synonym.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, now pretty much we can come back and discuss our scenario. So that first one, care to elaborate on your numbers or our numbers?
Yeah, you're running your own business, you need to hire staff, value, maturity. Okay.
What did I put 8 on that one?
Should read it there. Yeah, you put 8 on that one.
All right. Do you want to go first?
No, go for it.
No. So I picked 8 because not a full 10, because in the end the person is still 25, and even though they lived on their own since they were 18, that's still only 7 years. I mean, how much life could a person? I know when I was 25, I was still very immature. I thought I knew everything, but I really didn't. You know. So in a sense, it's I guess it'll be a little bit more of the people that live with their parents. I feel, depending on which generation it is, there's always a fallback. You know, it's like even though they mess up, it's like, oh, I still live with my parents, or you know, stuff like that.
Like a safety net.
A safety net, yeah. You know, so in the sense, it's they can mess up. I'll call in tomorrow. You know.
Yeah.
You know, whereas the other one, they might get in thinking that they know everything, and you know, you might be at odds with them, but at the same time, it's like you can kind of leave work and let them run it. Whereas the other one, I wasn't too sure if you could.
Yeah.
Because they obviously don't live alone. And
yeah.
Do they buy their groceries at home? Do they pay a bill or two? Do they, you know,
right.
It's like...
What kind of independence do they have?
Exactly.
That's kind of why I posed this question. We were trying to look for something like... And I guess the other part of the topic was like... Maturity, about maturity. And so we were wondering like, what is a good sign of maturity? And I guess we were thinking like independence is a good sign. Like it's not the only thing, but it's a starting point, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so that's the reason we went with this question too. What was your number?
Really good question.
I was at 7, I think.
Yeah.
I think you guys both had 8 and I had 7. The only reason why I chose 7 was because what if they're actually taking care of their parents? Was my only thought. Like, could they potentially have the same experiences as an individual who lives independently because they're having to take care of their parents? Like, what happens if one of the parents is ill and they need to help out or something, And so what if they are buying the groceries? What if they are providing? What if they are paying the bills? What if they are cleaning the home and they are completely independent of their parents? They don't need their parents, but yet they're still living there to assist. Was my only kind of option for maturation, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, they are mature and they can do all of this stuff.
But they'll be calling out a lot.
That's possibly too. Yeah. That's possible.
They
too,
would,
yeah.
So.
So, like, would I hire? Really, if I were gonna hire somebody, would probably be somebody that was on their own.
Yeah.
Because I know that they have the experience of purchasing, of being able to manage a house. Well, maybe. I mean, manage it to the best of their abilities, you know?
Yeah, and one of the things we kind of asked about it, too, was that it's like there's also a difference from you living with your parents and your parents living with you. And I think in this case, like if you're saying they're taking care of a sick parent, it's almost essentially like the parents are living with them, I guess. Even though I guess at this point maybe the parents already own the house or something, you know what I mean? So it's maintaining it. But if this 25-year-old's still doing most of the work to keep everything like afloat,
right?
Then it's almost essentially like the parent is living with them versus the other way around. But I don't know.
It depends. It depends if they're using them as a safety net, right?
Yeah.
But like when you're hiring a person, are you going to really ask that question?
Yeah.
Is another thing. I mean, you can do it in a roundabout way, right? You can be like, hey, so tell me about your living environment, or what are the different, like, what's your typical day look like?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it might pop up.
I did think about that too. Is like, how would somebody know about this information when applying for a job? I was like, I felt like they're going to ask, like, do you live with your parents? But I was like, that's just...
The funny thing is, like, on the flip side, I remember there was this girl I was trying to get with, and she was trying to choose between two guys, and she says, well, this guy, he has a house, but he says his parents live with him. And I was like, dude, you realize he's living with his parents, right? No, that's not what he tells me. It's like,
that's
yeah,
he wants
okay.
to, yeah, why would he tell you that?
Because saying the other way has always worked with a girl, right? Like, I live with my parents.
You're like, bro, he's 42. Like,
he's only 42.
He's only 42.
Who's got the master bedroom, you know?
Yeah. Oh, you know why they call it a master bedroom?
That would be a good one to ask, like, do you have the master bedroom or not?
Yeah. Oh, shoot. No, I live in the basement.
Like, yeah, or the garage.
Yeah.
Or the garage. Yeah, we converted the garage.
It's like, yeah, dude, yeah.
It's sweet. I hope you won. I hope you won that battle.
No, I didn't.
Oh, she went with the guy that had the parents.
But she didn't win either, because, yeah, he was a liar.
Because he lived in the...
So I guess in a way I won.
Yeah, in that case, yeah.
2 negatives, right?
Oh, man.
That's great.
Oh, shoot. I was going to say something.
And,
sorry.
No.
Mine was an 8, pretty much. Yeah, I guess what we both said pretty much is, I think it's a sign of independence. And to me, I value independence a lot. Like that's one of the, especially as a, whatever career path that I'm not supposed to reveal yet, even though, I try to show independence or the value of independence.
Cool.
All right, next one. So
this
just
is the one that tripped us up.
this is the one.
Broke our brain. We need shots of tequila for this one.
Yeah, we actually do.
I'm gonna get the bottle.
Yeah?
Sure, let's do it. Push pause.
Let's take a slight...
A beverage break?
Yeah. I mean, this is our first one.
Yeah, it was not that bad.
Sweet.
It's got a different flavor.
We just tried one.
You did call it, though. You said it poured like it was going to be sweet.
It does. So if you look at it when you pour it, it kind of moves slow.
Does it?
It's more syrupy.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like, watch as I pour myself another one.
Oh my god.
It's for scientific purposes. Yeah.
Like, look how slow at the end, like...
Yeah, syrupy.
I don't know. It looks...
Like, one of my favorite drinks when I was little was Formula 44D with the alcohol. Remember that, the cough syrup? that had alcohol in it. You know?
You're like, this is my favorite drink,
They're
Mom.
like, damn, Mom.
I was like,
Dang.
Next thing you know, I'm taking like Jägermeister shots. You know, this reminds me of my childhood.
Goldschlager. Didn't they pull that off the market?
Yeah, they did.
Why?
Yeah, like
all I know is I threw it up once and all the gold came out.
Yeah.
like a unicorn.
Yes. And I was kind of upset. I was like, look at how pretty it was.
That it was. But then, like, you wonder where the gold came out, you know, so you're looking in the toilet. You're like, no, it's not there.
I never got the opportunity to have it come out.
No.
No, it all came out.
This bad.
I always barfed it out instead. Like, no. And I always wanted to see if this is way TMI, like my poop would sparkle.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, and you're like looking, but nope, I didn't have that opportunity.
After you throw out, you're like, you see, I'm shining.
It was the most beautiful barf ever. Oh, I remember where that happened too. It was with actually, he's another artist in El Paso. My good friend Ivan, and he does artsy fartsy Ivan, and he does a bunch of like Disney stuff, whatever. And he was driving me home and turned a corner really fast, and I was like, "Whoa, you gotta pull over!" Then went the Goldschlager. They stopped selling it for a reason. You see, maybe it was just like food poisoning. Like you weren't supposed to drink gold.
A lot of people with kidney failure because they just got clogged in the kidneys, you know. Like,
they cut them open and they're like, ah.
Yeah, the golden kidney, you know. All the drug cartels are like, you see, this one's got gold, man.
Dang.
People waking up in bathtubs full of ice, you know.
Oh, organ missing.
All right, sorry. Anyway,
that was fun.
It's totally like It's totally opposite. It's supposed to be like the golden one, and it doesn't work anymore.
It's all solidified. All the little tubes are clogged with gold.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I wonder if that really happens.
Yeah, I don't know.
You made me think about that one.
Gold's like, nope, it's not supposed to come out this way. It's like, damn, we're too far off on the other end, you know.
Well, I guess I'm glad I threw it up.
It's stuck right there. Yeah, you're probably
Yeah. No
All
golden
right.
kidneys.
Ready for scenario 2? This is
Yeah, this is the hard one. This is why we needed a shot.
So, is on a scale, does having purpose find happiness, or does happiness give you purpose? I guess in the search of happiness, does that give you purpose, or are they both the same? Are they both the same thing? Both of these scenarios, are they the same thing?
May I talk about why I broke my brain? So it broke my brain because I don't think that they are the same. I think that they're opposites.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that they're completely different things that have some things that coincide with each other. That's how it is in my head, right? So,
Explain. Like
purpose
scenario,
being
yeah.
something very concrete to me. My purpose is to take care of my son. That's my purpose in life. Does it bring me happiness? Most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not all of the time, because there are ups and downs in every kind of like human relationship, right? Including that of your parent and a child, or a child and a parent. However, in any different one. But it does bring you moments of happiness. And I think that happiness is an emotion, and it occurs in moments. And I think that to find happiness and to feel happiness, you also have to know its opposition, which is the dirt, the difficult places, right? Because without those difficult places, it doesn't give the opportunity for that much appreciated happiness, right? Because I think a child can have happiness.
That's the only form of true happiness that I've seen.
They're
That's what
right.
I had to, yeah.
They're happy. They don't know what's going on, but then they can also feel unhappy. I mean, at the very, like a baby can feel unhappy, right? And they're screaming and they're crying because they're hungry or they're uncomfortable. But then they can also have happiness when a person is talking to them and playing with them. Mm-hmm. And so, another question that pops into my head is like, when do you find your purpose in life? And does purpose change? You were telling us earlier that your purpose has changed over time, right?
Yes.
And is it just finding that purpose, or did you truly, or like, do people truly have multiple purposes?
Yeah, that could be it. That could be true too. So, do I chime in on this?
Yeah.
All right. So I was saying earlier, like how I thought I had a purpose when I was in my early 20s. It was like to conquer the world, do everything that I did, similar to what I did in high school. In high school, I was a part of a million groups. I was in charge of some of them. Got a bunch of medals, yada yada yada. Got a bunch of letters on my letterman, a bunch of patches. So going into life, I was like, all right, I got to do the same thing. And for the most part, I did, but it wasn't the same amount of happiness or appreciation that I thought I would get, like I did in high school. In high school, the teachers were proud of you. Once you get to life and you accomplish those goals, technically those aren't teachers. That's your opposition, including going all the way to the top, whether it be bosses or stuff like that. Sometimes it's like, oh, well, this guy's too good or whatever. Obstacles start being put in your way, and yeah, you could go through those obstacles like the way you were saying, but a lot of times life does you dirty. Life is like, it's like in boxing. The judges are against you, the referee's against you. Then you not only do you have to fight your opponent, you got to find all that other stuff. The media, which is everybody around you, is against you. Everybody's talking about against you. Last night I just saw a fight where the one dude that no one thought was going to win, and even me, I didn't think he was going to win. In the end, he pulled off the biggest upset. And even the odds, like the biggest odds were like him winning the decision, and he won the decision. And at the end of the fight, you saw him scream. You saw him scream out to the fans, and all the fans cheered. And you saw that emotion just pour out of him. And that's the moment you were talking about, that joy, The purpose was to win the fight, and that joy is what he got afterwards. And everybody got to enjoy it with him. The dude's 25. He has a career ahead of him. So there's going to be a lot of little conflicts of purpose with maybe happiness, maybe disappointment, depending on where he falls, It depends also where in age. Sometimes contentment gets mixed into it. When you get older, you feel content and you stop finding purpose. You stop finding happiness too. You're just content. Me at 40, what am I, 46? I feel like I still have like a fire in me, and I still want to go out and do stuff like as if I was a 20-year-old man, and a lot of times I burn the candle on both ends, and I'm just like, I got to do this because I waited too long to get into this, so now it's like I have to have that purpose, and it's helped me in a lot of times because I've won a few awards, I've been featured in stuff, and people recognize me. And that gives me that happiness, when people give me that look like, whoa, your artwork does this, the 3D, and stuff like that. So it's like a fuel. So I was at odds. I think what did I put? I put 1.
Yes.
Purpose, find happiness. And that was my gut instinct. And then I was trying to change it to like maybe a 2 or 3 or something like that, but I think I'll stick to that. I think you're right. Purpose does find happiness. Does happiness give you purpose? Happiness, I believe, gives you 50-50, contentment and or purpose. It depends on which path you take. But purpose, I think, does find happiness in the end. Not all the time, but I guess that's also 50-50,
sometimes,
right?
Like, I mean, we have to give ourselves a break in that we're still human.
Yes.
And that we still have a lot of exterior... There are so many variables, right, that happen on the daily that something can piss you off, essentially, and then you lose that happiness when you woke up and you're like, I have all of this, and my purpose is to whatever, and you're fulfilling all of these things, but happiness is the emotion, I think, that comes with failure sometimes, right? The bad stuff, like feeling not so happy, and then also being able to feel happy. But I think they're, like, very separate. I was watching a documentary on the centenarians. Yes, centenarians. So they're the people that reach 100 years old and older, and they happen to have blue zones. Have you heard of the blue zones?
No, what is that?
So a blue zone is where you have groups of people that are living over the age of 100. And so they go and they talk to these people, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Like, is it the foods they're eating? Is it the exercise they're doing? Well, one of the big things that they find is that they all have purpose in life. Ooh, there we go with our ASMR again, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Glug, 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 glug. Just kidding. And so these people all have a purpose. And purpose for them is still different. They never retire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, retirement isn't a thing for them. But what they have been doing for the extent of their life is the same thing. So they are really good at, what is it called? Like weaving. Or they're very good at carving. Or they're very good at, they're some kind of craftsman, right? And that's what they do. That is their purpose in life, is to provide this for their community.
Yeah.
Are they happy about it? Maybe. Right? Maybe they are. I don't think that a lot of them got asked that question. But they are very content. And I think it's interesting that we bring up that word so many times with happiness and purpose.
So yeah, what do you guys think content means, or how is it different from happiness?
I knew a person very close to me that they're older, and they said, when I was trying to find my happiness, I asked them, well, what about your happiness? And that person said, like, I'm just happy with being content. Like, I'm through with trying to find true happiness. I'm just content. And that's the most that I can do. And I was just like, it kind of broke my heart. I was like, damn, I'm trying to tell you that I'm trying to find happiness, and at your age, which I'll eventually get to, is like, God damn, it's like.
And if like you haven't found it at that age, then.
Yeah, and.
To me, content is comfortable.
Exactly. But comfort can be a bad thing.
Right. There's nothing. Well, there's no growth. Yes. There might not be any growth. Who knows? It's kind of like I'm content being in this bathtub. But I've got to get out eventually. Mm-hmm. Like it's a place of comfort, but I guess like what you're saying, like it can be dangerous in the sense of it can become stagnant also.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And then once it does become stagnant, then comes unhappiness or discontent.
Yes. I guess it's real hard to. I've seen a lot of boxers, like after they retire, how do they get that emotion back? A lot of them go to drugs. A lot of them go to alcohol. They do all the bad stuff. Sometimes they come out of retirement, get their butts beat again. Knocked out of the ring. Yada yada yada. So it's, how do you match that? Sometimes you get the highest of highs, and it's like, wow, how do you match that? Yeah.
So is there anyone like you think has, I guess, kept that fire going the longest and not become content or stagnant or anything?
I've only seen one person. One of my heroes was in Mad Magazine. There was an artist by the name of El Jaffe. I don't know if you got Mad Magazine at the back cover. He's the guy that would, how you fold it and it's a different image. Mm-hmm. That's basically invented by El Jaffe.
Okay.
He drew up until he was 99.
Holy moly.
Wow.
Yeah, he holds a record for having the longest career. Yeah, no one's going to beat that. No. There's no way.
Dang.
Yeah, and he was starting to get introduced into like digital art, making it easier, because he used to hand draw everything. He still did up to a point, but I think he retired at 99 and he passed away like at 101 or something like that, but he had that fire for, how long of a career is that? I think it was like, what is it, like 70 years that he was drawing? 60, 70 years? That's a long time to have that fire,
Yeah.
That's the only guy that I've seen that's been that consistent. I can't think of anybody else. I did see a meme. I saw a meme of, they asked this 160-year-old lady, they're all like, what's your secret? And she said, wanting to die. So, I don't know,
Damn.
I just want to die, God, why do you punish me?
It also reminds me of The Simpsons. What I was just What is it? Apu, when he had the octuplets. I don't know if you watched like that long or whatever. No. So he gets married and they have kids and they end up having octuplets. So they have 8 kids and they're 8 babies or whatever. And then the wife finds him like passed out, just like exhausted, tired. And he's like, "Oh no, you don't." He's like, "You don't get to fall asleep." Or when she wakes him up, and he's like, "Oh, I was having the most wonderful dream where I died."
And he's probably gonna live forever too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That might be the secret too.
Wanting to die.
I just want to die. Somebody kill me.
It's very fascinating because I think that they're so mixed in because happiness is an emotion, right? So it's subjective.
Well, like
It's
your
also
happiness is
subjective.
different
Your
from,
happiness
like,
is different from my happiness, which
Yeah.
is different from his happiness. And then, like, everybody's happiness is their own.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's purpose is also their own. So that's where they're similar, right? Because everybody thinks that they have a different purpose in life. But I do think that when you accomplish, or when you're on your way to your purpose, like when you are fulfilling your purpose, it does bring you happiness.
Yes.
Because even if it's the ups and the downs, you know that you're still on your pursuit, right? And they like even say like the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Like, is it the pursuit of happiness or is it the pursuit of purpose? Or is it like the fulfillment of purpose?
They always say that's the road. That's the one that makes you happy. Everything afterwards is, well, I don't know, because it's
Or is it...
it's the journey too.
That's
Yeah.
what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, like, is it finding acceptance in what's happening and not being, like, content with it, but accepting it to the point where you're like, oh, I'm enjoying this.
Do you
so-
ever find? Sorry,
Go ahead.
Do you ever find yourself like on the journey to something it is that you're trying to do, or that purpose portion where you're trying to find that happiness, and then you're like, wow, like I'm really on this path. Like while you're on the path, just be like, I'm enjoying this.
And
I'm
then
really
you find
enjoying
happiness,
this.
or like you allow yourself happiness.
Yes, have you ever
Yeah.
had that?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of times, like people don't reflect the current. They reflect what they've been through and what they're trying to achieve, but
Right.
not while they're
Yeah,
on
and
that path.
I think sometimes that's the part that like we, I don't know how to phrase it. Like
We disregard.
no, I guess it's just the exposure to, like, you think you want this, but then along the way you discover something that wasn't even on your radar, and like, oh, like how
Yes.
would I ever discover this unless I even started on this path? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And the other thing I was gonna say too is like, I think sometimes what can get lost too is in the pursuit of that. Well, like even if the journey is the purpose, sometimes we think we know the destination, but I think sometimes we keep moving the destination. Like we don't actually. How do we know when we actually arrived to it? You know what I mean?
But at that point, I think that that's still forward progress.
Yeah.
True.
And it's still accomplishing, like, the purpose is modifying, right? So, okay, so let's say with, like, Versal, like, our business, right? And, like, interviewing people.
Mhm.
Well, okay, this is super cool. Like, so many people strive to just do this. And we're kind of like, cool, we could be comfortable and just do this, but how do we make it better? How do we make it better for the people that we're talking to? How do we increase our happiness? Does that make sense? Increase
Yes.
your enjoyment of what you're doing. And I think that it just pushes the purpose a little bit further. And you're like, okay. And you push it a little bit further. And that's how come you don't become stagnant.
It's also like, I think, a combination of the two things that you were saying. You push it a little bit further, but at the same time, it's like those moments. Sorry, like I said, I watch a lot of boxing and I do a lot of life analogies. So Roy Jones, when he was fighting, he got robbed in one fight. They DQ'd him, and he was actually winning the fight, but because he accidentally hit the dude while he was down, it was DQ. So I saw an interview with him, and he was talking about that. He should have won the gold medal in the Olympics, and he was mad. He's like, I should have won that gold medal. Even his opponent knew that he won the gold medal. He ended up getting silver. So they took away that from him. So when he started his pro career, he's like, I'm gonna do pro. I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna leave any chance to anybody. I'm gonna, do the best that I can. Then he got robbed in that one fight. And what he wanted to do was he wanted to have an elongated career in that weight division, you know, so that he could hold that record for having the longest weight division. But they took that away, and he wanted to be undefeated. So he thought to himself, okay, well, now that they took that away, what am I going to do next? Well, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go up all the way to heavyweight and win all the belts along the way. And he did. He won, you know. So in those little moments that he had and those disappointments that he had, he still ended up modifying it and doing what he wanted to do, you know. Once he reached heavyweight, if he would have retired right then and there after winning the heavyweight title, he probably would have been greater than Ali.
Dang.
You know. But he went back down. That's when he started getting knocked out. That's a whole different point. But, like, that path up until heavyweight, he went from middleweight all the way to heavyweight. You know, that's picturing Canelo going all the way up to heavyweight and winning the heavyweight champion.
Oof.
You know, yeah, and that's only happened one other time in the history of boxing, and that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to break that record. You know, so it's those moments. You know, you accomplish one moment, and it's not. I don't know if you move it or you just find a new purpose. You know,
they're
modifying it. So it's a little bit of both.
Right.
I think.
But I guess my thing is, sometimes I think people can get lost in that purpose or in that journey, and then never having that that element that tells them like, okay, you have arrived at your destination, or at least have arrived into a fork in the road. You either go this way or go that way. And I think that's where people, I don't know, start getting frustrated and like feel lost or whatever. And like, so they don't have that. So how can anyone tell, like, even if you set your own goal, you got to set it like, if I achieve this, then I have reached my destination, and then I can set a new one. Or if on the way there I come across this, then I know I'll need to do this or that. But sometimes I don't think people notice when they have arrived. And I guess people around you are more easily like, oh, like seeing you, especially when it goes longer periods of time. Like, I haven't seen you in 2-3 years or whatever, and like you seem different now. Like, and it's like, yeah, you've done really good for yourself, and people see it easier because they only saw you like 3 years ago, and now they saw your progress of 3 years later. You know what I mean? And us, if we're living it day to day, we're only seeing the little increments, like I said at the beginning, the Kaizen or whatever, and so we're not really, might not notice the little differences as much. And I guess that sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit when we actually did arrive at something, or how do we tell when we arrived at something? Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
You gotta be able to appreciate the now. That not just the road, but be able to accomplish it. But also, sometimes you just have to celebrate that victory by yourself, and that's the part that it kind of sucks when you see it in an overview. But when you're in it and you're one of those people that just is able to celebrate the now and able to reach it, and no matter if no one else gives you that gratification, you yourself be like, you know what, I did it. I don't care what anybody says. I did it. You know, and then just move on to the next one.
I think that's also why it's very important for humans to have friends.
Yeah.
Because you can tell them, like close friends, right? You can be like, hey, this is what I did. And they're going to be like, oh, yeah.
No way, dude.
You know, like they'll celebrate your wins with you. And you're going to have some people that are like family members that are like, okay, and then? And they're doing it, right? I don't know if it's like a cultural thing. They're like, okay, and so I did that. And we're like, dang, like, we're talking about, like, let's celebrate this little win for me. Yeah, like, you know, and I think that's why it's important for us to have. I think
there's a difference from, oh, I did that versus, oh, I could do that. I was like, oh, you could, but did you kind of deal?
Yeah.
If they actually did, then okay, cool. Fine, I'll own up to that you've done it before too. But when it's like, oh, I could do that, I was like, well, yeah, well.
I have a person in my life who said that. Yeah, actually. And she was like, oh, you got your master's. And I was like, yeah. Oh, I could do that. You totally should. You should. So I encouraged her. She flopped out, I want to say 2 months into it. I was like, you can still do it. You know, and so you end up turning it around, and you just have to be the encouraging person, because I'm happy that I did that. And regardless if you want to celebrate my win with me or without me, like, I'm going to do this exactly how you said, on my own. It's my celebration. I know that I did that. I fulfilled that. And sometimes that's where it ends.
I've had a lot of solo parties, you know.
Yeah.
I've gone to Vegas by myself several times to celebrate
Very
certain
nice.
things, you know, and yeah, and it's weird because like you meet strangers and oh yeah, I'm here because of this. Really? That's awesome, you know.
Yeah.
Total
Right?
strangers.
Yeah.
And you're like, how is it that my family couldn't back me up on that? You assholes.
Right.
I'll buy you a shot. Next thing you know, you're getting arrested. And, well,
Oh my goodness. Hey, what happens in
Anyway,
Vegas?
yeah.
But I do want to hear that story once the mics are off.
So, have we even answered as to why we landed on those scales, or?
it's probably a 5.
They're both the same thing?
No, well, I think it's subjective.
I think they're both different.
I think
I think they coincide, but they're both different.
5.
Does having purpose find happiness? Does happiness give you purpose?
Potato, maybe.
I almost think that I moved down.
Yeah.
I think I'm more on what you originally said.
Maybe we should switch to. Well, no. I was gonna say switch that one to being. Switch 5 to being. It's more dependent on a person, because I think some people. To me, I guess number 1 or the first one, just having purpose, find happiness, and I think that one, it's almost like. The purpose is more important, and if by chance you get some happiness, then cool. You like a cake, it's like sprinkles on a cake or whatever. Like the cake is the main thing, and then the sprinkles. If you get sprinkles on it, like oh cool, it's just an added little feature of this. Versus the other one, it's like I want the cake with sprinkles, and so you do anything you can to get that cake with sprinkles. You know what I mean?
Damn, you know what? I might have to go back to. I might be a 6 then, because the story I was telling you earlier. I don't want to mention like. You know, it's somebody that solely goes for the shiny stuff, the trophies, the medals, and everything. They sacrifice everything, and they accomplish everything. But in the end, it's like, what if their life is just a misery? You know,
Yeah.
they're old, and they see all the shiny stuff on the wall, and everything that they gave up for is the stuff that stuck around, and all of that is crap. It's like, is that happiness? They had the most extreme purpose, and they accomplished everything. But the end result was, you know, classic.
Maybe. And I don't even mean it like as a like actually anything tangible. If it was awards, sometimes it could be totally personal. Like
some people go
like,
for that. Some people.
Yeah,
just
no, I
go for
know. I like
That's their purpose in life.
Yeah.
like me, like playing guitars or whatever. Like if I want to learn like a super hard song and that's like my end goal, like I'm not doing it because I want to perform this song or like it's just for personal. And like once I get there, like cool, like I got there, I learned it, I know it now, and and that like checks off the list. But it wasn't like anything like I got an award for this. You know what I mean?
That's like 2 different kinds of purposes too. You know, we're against the person that's solely doing like for the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
That's very interesting because the way that we're discussing purpose is not how purpose is in my head.
How do you see it?
To me, purpose in my head is almost tangible.
Mm-hmm. Like
what?
It's
like seeing a smile, seeing laughter, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
like
And that's exactly what his is. Yeah.
like seeing. So like I was telling you that my purpose in life is to raise my kid happy and healthy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So when he's not sick, I'm happy about that.
Yes. And that's true happiness too.
You know, it's genuine. Like, when he does something good and achieves something, then I'm like, yes, my purpose is being fulfilled, one step at a time.
20 years from now, when you look back and be like, oh wow, remember when I used to help you with that? You know, it's
And but you hope that you have that, right? Like, you don't know.
Yeah,
like,
you don't
I
know.
could screw up. I could say one thing wrong to my kid, and he'll never talk to me for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Right? And so then that purpose that I had in life, do I let it rule the rest of my life and be like, oh, my purpose is unfulfilled, it's gone, now I have nothing? or do you modify your purpose in life, right? Do you choose something like, okay, well, that ship sailed, we didn't get to that point. My purpose in life now is to help other people do, I don't know, whatever it may be, right? I kind of think that a person might have several purposes.
Right. I guess I'm thinking of purposes like goals in a way, like short-term, long-term goals.
And I'm going about it with like
Yeah, it could be little thing. Like today, it could just be like, oh, I need to get this stuff mailed out, or I need to get this stuff done, and that's a win for me for today.
See, and to me, that's not purpose.
No, but I think they add up into like a bigger picture. Like if I don't even take care of these little things, then there's no way I can even contribute to the big thing.
Right, and I guess I don't see
so
purpose as...
So even like at least to me, like what you're saying with our kid is there's some little side things that are probably indirectly related to him, but you would still have to get them done for the bigger picture for you to even be able to provide for him.
Like say, for instance, today I put the door in this room. Tomorrow I'll do the backyard. The next day I'll do the garage. The next day I'll do this. Next thing you know, like days, months, weeks, years later, you have a house.
Right.
You know, every little thing that you did.
Yeah, and that's how come I don't see... I think that those are a subset, right? Goals are a subset of purpose, but purpose I see as a bigger...
Like the overall picture?
Yeah, like not even a goal, almost like a goal that cannot be achieved.
But see, that's kind of what that was my, because even in the definition it said, what did it say? I guess it does say intention, but it says an end to be attained, and that was my thing, is like, how do you know you've attained it? Like
something
purpose,
set up as an object or end to be attained.
Yeah.
And so that's my thing, is that I think sometimes we get lost in attaining this thing, but if it's unattainable, then why am I going to try it? So I think we need to give ourselves enough credit to whatever we are working at. Like, what is the thing that's going to show you that you have attained it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, you have to almost like self-reward, because then you'll stop striving for a bigger purpose.
Right.
I guess the way I'm seeing it is like that Roy Jones story that I was telling you about. For you, the purpose would be to get the heavyweight title. And for us, it'd be, you still got to go up to super middleweight, to light heavyweight, to cruiserweight, then to heavyweight. So every little one of those things is a purpose, you know, leading up to it, you know. But I guess what you're saying is, for you, the overall achievement would be to win that heavyweight title, right?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, but you still got to get through all of that first.
Right. But those are all the things that I know that I need to get up to.
And well,
you can jump up to heavyweight, but it's going to be hard. You
know?
Well,
no, but the thing is you probably, I don't know boxing very well, but you probably wouldn't have enough experience to be able to fight those fighters at that level, because you're talking, I mean, when you're a heavyweight and you're at a very small one, like, if you don't go step by step and you skip to the top, you're going to get your ass kicked. Because these guys have the experience of fighting other men or women that are that same size. So with my thing, I'm saying that, of course, this is my purpose. This is the purpose. And it's this giant fruit tree. But I know that I have to water it. I know that I have to give it light. I know that I have to give it fertilizers. Right? So those are all of the things that it's almost like a given to me. I wouldn't say I'm going to skip from lightweight to heavyweight.
Yeah.
Right? I know that I have to go through all of those, but what I'm skipping that you guys are seeing, which I think is beautiful because you're changing my mind, is the more logical...
The path.
The more logical aspect of giving yourself rewards at every step of the way. And I typically don't do that.
Until you get the big...
Until I get the big thing. And then I'm like, now I reap all that I've sown. And I don't give myself enough of the credit on the little steps. Which you both are saying, look at the little steps. Each one of these could be a purpose. And I failed to see that. So, you guys kaizened me already.
My thing with the way I'm interpreting what you're saying is that your purpose is... whatever that purpose is, like going back to boxing, if we do use boxing, like it's not winning the heavyweight title. It's like you wanting to be the greatest boxer of all time. And so that becomes more subjective because you can't prove that in a way. Like some people will say, oh yeah, like how you asked that guy who was the best Laker of all time. And it's not like, it's very subjective. And so winning the heavyweight title is very concrete. Like it goes down in history books, like this guy won or this person won in this year for this many rounds or whatever. Like that's very measured versus being the best of all time. Like how do you prove that you became the best of all time? Like you could have this many titles and someone still says, oh yeah, but this title was this and this title was that. And so it's like, so that doesn't mean this guy did it this way. And so that becomes better. And so when the purpose becomes that subjective, it seems so, like, how do you know you've attained it?
If you ask a boxer who the greatest boxer is of all time, they're all going to say me. And it's like, besides me, you know, it's this person, that person, you know. But they all feel that they're the greatest.
Interesting.
And it's like I love that, you know, because like you ask, like even wrestlers, you know, you ask Chris Jericho, who's the greatest wrestler? He's like, I am the greatest at what I do, and you can't argue with that. Yeah. Because he is the greatest at what he does. You know, you ask me who's the greatest artist, you know, I'm the greatest at what I do. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I'm really not.
At this point, in El Paso, you are the only one who does what you do. No other artist has their art jump literally out at you.
3D stuff.
No other artist. And we know a lot of artists, and I love all of the artists on their own. But yours does not. Theirs does not do what yours does.
Yeah, I try to do something different. But yeah, there's still other people
that
are just
guys.
There's this guy that I saw on Real Sports with Brian Gumbo, and he served time. He was in prison, and he picked up actually served time for a crime that he did not commit. Ooh. And he started drawing. He used color pencils, and he would draw like golf courses because that's the only magazine that he could get a hold of. So he would draw all these golf courses and stuff, you know. And he started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Eventually sold to the ward, and eventually, you know. Eventually, his case had to be re-entered after he got like recognition for his art, and he ended up being let go from prison because they found out that he didn't commit the crime. So now, like, he draws these golf courses. Now he's able to visit the same golf courses that he drew. You know, and showcase. He sold like pictures to drawings to Obama. He sold drawings to Tiger Woods. You know, like, it was just amazing, you know, like, wow, you know. So obviously I was like, I followed him on Instagram and everything, and I was like, this guy does pretty amazing stuff, you know, better than what I do. But he doesn't have 3D like I do, but
that course does not jump off the page.
Wow, you know, his stuff is, you know, for color pencils, which is the medium that I use, I was like, yeah, this guy is, you know,
amazing artist. I don't know, this one still breaks my brain a little bit.
That's also like purpose, I guess, in a sense too. Like, if with that guy in prison, what was his happiness? Doing those little things to help himself escape from prison. Mm-hmm. And all those little things that he did, all those little pictures and everything, ended up winning his freedom. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm pretty sure he didn't think that he was ever going to get freed. You know, but imagine like just trying to find an escape. You know. Mm-hmm. So I guess that kind of like, he was trying to find happiness, but he did he have a purpose? You know, like, it was just drawing to escape for joy with no purpose. And the purpose ended up finding him later.
Mm-hmm. Or like the person that you had mentioned earlier, that their purpose was to obtain everything shiny. Mm-hmm. And then once they got it, do they have any kind of happiness?
Yeah, exactly.
And I guess that's my thing. Even how many shiny things do you need to be happy? Because even, like, they could think,
that's Mayweather.
Like, when you first start out on it, like, oh, I want that shiny thing, and I want that shiny thing, and, like, up to what point, like, do you have a number in mind as to how many shiny things do you need when you're finally like, okay, I'm happy now? But
what if each of those little shiny things made them happy, and they found happiness in that?
It's subjective then.
All of it. Isn't all of this subjective?
Yeah.
Like, because happiness is mostly subjective. Purpose, I guess, is a tiny bit more able to be measured. Mm-hmm. For some, right? So my purpose in life is to raise my kid happy, healthy. Okay, so now my kid, let's say the future, our kid is 70 years old. He has everything that he could possibly want, and he says he's happy and he's still healthy. And we're living in a bottle or something. Like our heads are like Futurama style, but we can see all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Was my purpose fulfilled?
Well, it's like what you said earlier too. It's like everyone has a different form of happiness. What makes me happy doesn't necessarily make you happy, and everyone has a different purpose.
Yeah,
right.
And so it's all subjective.
It's all yeah.
I mean, I guess we could measure some people's, like with these centenarians who are living forever, and they say, "Oh, it's because I have a purpose in life."
It's because I want to die.
You know, and her purpose has not been fulfilled. So how happy is that lady? I wonder if she's happy. I'm sure she has moments of happiness and moments of dread.
That's such a good sound clip to just keep using. I just want to die.
I just want to die.
That kind of button.
Yeah.
I just want to die.
I just want to
Oh,
die.
we had a dog that probably would push that button. I just want to die.
Did you ever watch?
The damn Reaper would never get that
I
poor
can't
dog.
really tell you about this. Did you ever watch Spin City?
No. I'm real bad with TV shows.
There was an old sitcom, and they had a dog that was always trying to commit suicide, and so you would see him licking sockets.
Oh.
Wow.
That was the one that made me laugh the most. And it was based in New York, and like you'd find him next to the window, like he's looking back or whatever. It's like, hey, what are you doing over there?
Well, it's like Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, perfect example. Starts off, like when he realizes that he's immortal. He starts doing stupid stuff, and then eventually, like he just wants to die, and then eventually he finds purpose and he starts doing all the good stuff. You know what I mean? So along the way, he finds a purpose, and that's what makes him happy. And when he finally falls in love with a girl, and day 2 comes around, and
Dang. That made me think of another movie that's like that. Oh, like Big Fish.
Oh, Big Fish. Have you seen Big Fish?
I saw Big Fish, but it was a long time ago.
Like he knows everything that won't kill him, so he does it.
Oh, yeah. He found out the way he was going to die at the beginning of the movie. And so now he knows how he is going to die, and he does all this crazy stuff because like, this isn't how I die anyway. So that's what gives him permission, pretty much, to go do a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I think, all in all, altogether, like this question, purpose is difficult to find. It's difficult to put your finger on what your one single purpose in life would be, because I do think that we probably have many.
That's what I was going to say. Or at least it might be harder to find the one big overarching purpose that, like you're saying, that all the little things point to this one or contribute to this one. And I think that might be what people have difficulty finding.
It's like when you go to college and you don't know what your major is going to be. So you take all the basics.
Yeah.
You accomplish all those little goals. Eventually you find that purpose, and that's, okay, I want to be this.
Yeah, and even like you said, along the way, like you get a little sidetracked.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I didn't even know this was an option. Like, oh, now I'm a little bit interested in this.
But it's like the happiness in that journey too is like finding the good points and the allowing yourself to reward yourself for those good things that you do. You find happiness in, or like even I don't know. It's different for everybody, but like sharing a shot with you was very special to me. It makes me happy because you are an artist that's freaking amazing. I mean, we have your work up on our walls in our home that we work hard to obtain. And now you're here and we're talking to you. Fucking happy. I'm happy. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
we're not gonna lie, we fangirled a little bit once we left Comic-Con. Like,
oh really?
We're like, oh my god, we know his name.
By that.
No, but that is happiness to us. To me.
Yeah.
I'm happy. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. Like, it has been... these podcasts started a year ago.
No,
2 years ago. And I would be so incredibly nervous at them. I like to talk.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God. What's recorded stays here forever.
Yeah.
And I've grown as a person from the first ones. But through that, I have found happiness. Right? It was never like, oh, my purpose in life is to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Like, never, ever did I think that. I still don't think that it's a purpose, right? But it's definitely a goal, and it's in the works of achievement, right? There are some things that you can, they're just forever. You just work and you till the soil until you see it.
Let's see what pops up,
Yeah.
Could be weeds. Could be the tomato plant that you've been trying to grow,
And then you can nurture that for a while, and then it dies, and you're like, oh, my plant.
Could be a gopher that you end up having as a pet,
Oh, that would be so fun.
Yeah.
So I've been getting myself kicked out of people's houses.
I did that in my 20s.
And it to me it was very simple, but I think that I definitely like hit the nail on the head with some of these people. I've been obsessed with cows, like Highland cows. Have you seen them?
No.
They're adorable.
They're like miniature cows.
They're like miniature
Really?
furry
it's like
cows.
like a big dog
Yeah.
size.
Really?
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. And I told our friends, I was like, oh my God, you should get a cow, haha, as a joke. And then I showed it to them, and they're like, I really want a cow. And they're like, get out. The husbands have been like, get out. And I'm like,
she got it twice in a row pretty much.
oh my God. No, 3 times. 3 times,
was-
all because of the cow.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm not going to encourage you to get a cow.
No.
Because I don't want you to leave just yet. Go buy a cow.
Didn't Bart say, like, have a cow, man? Or something like that?
Have a cow, man. Oh,
Don't have a cow.
Oh, don't have a... Oh, there you go.
Let's change it to have a cow. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. But they're adorable. Anyway, so I was like, man, sharing my happiness brought others such disdain and shit.
Yeah.
And then and now they're getting a divorce. I'm
No.
kidding.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm kidding. Don't have
Plot
a cow,
twist.
man.
Yeah, he smacked her. They called the cops.
Yeah.
Came out on
He's
Fit
in
Fan.
prison.
Yeah.
What'd you
Like,
do?
damn, my
Look,
cow's
those are
like-
Highland cows.
Oh, wow.
They're adorable. They're even more adorable when they move. Move. Just kidding.
That is fun. That dude's on his knees over here, isn't he?
Yeah, look at them. Damn things are cute.
What do they eat? I mean, I'm assuming they eat the same thing as cows.
Yeah.
So you have to have, like, a lot of grass or what?
Yeah.
The
But
one
look, they
doesn't
just
even
look like...
You have a
bring
park across the street.
I know.
Does it have grass?
That's what I was saying.
Eating the weeds.
Yeah.
Would you like any more?
On the next question.
Okay.
Maybe.
You?
Um,
I just ran out of my beverage. That's all. I'm sipping it. I promise.
So subjective, right?
Yeah. So Sal's going to buy me
Hey,
a
what the
cow
heck?
for Valentine's Day, I think.
my other thing disappeared.
See? Just kidding.
You are?
No, I'm not going to get a cow.
One day you're going to be broke. Dad, what do we eat?
Oh,
There's the cow.
well, Betsy over here looks pretty good.
And the third one, oh dang it, went too far. There it is. Oh, this one I wanted to. I'm very curious about.
Yeah,
How
so am I.
similar are animals to humans? Do animals need purpose as much as humans do? And that's where I was a jerk and put a 4, and you guys were up higher.
I was at like a
6.
7. Yeah, 6 and a 7.
I mean, we're hovering around the 5.
Yeah,
you
yeah, we
know?
were. That's pretty much. I said no 5, so it was like,
Yeah,
if I had to lead one way, I want to say no, but
The averages that out to like what 5.3, 5.4, something
Yeah.
like that.
mine. I'll go first and say that.
Yeah.
I can see they have like a natural instinct to want to do whatever, but I think instinct is still different from purpose. I think purpose is still very purposeful. Like I've decided to take on this versus instinct. It's almost like you have no
to
choice.
Love my
Yeah.
human because if not, I won't get fed.
Yeah. Well, no, not even that. Like even if it's a wild animal, like I have no choice but to follow the instinct. It's kind of hard to disobey the instinct. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I have to hunt to stay alive, or like I have to do this to, but it's not because I intended to. Like, well, like I'm only gonna, like how we do diets. Like I don't think they're gonna be like, oh, I'm only gonna hunt skinny animals today, or I'm only gonna hunt the fatter animals. I don't know. Like, and if it is, it's not based on purpose. It's based on instinct or something. Like, It would be more like, oh, like the fat one made me sick or something, so I'm gonna pick the skinny one or something like that, versus like purposely picking, oh, this one makes me happier or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason I went with the 4. But
I have to interject something just because it's like it's kind of off subject. But did you guys see that one snake who ate the porcupine?
Oh,
No, I didn't.
This anaconda eats a porcupine
That
and then dies.
Yeah.
He dies like 2 hours later because the porcupine was like whack.
Oh, that was a stupid
like-
mistake.
take that.
Yeah.
Hey,
So they both died.
some
But-
people learn, you know.
Yeah, and some do not.
Some do not.
That's the only thing that'll stop them.
I saw a meme that's had 2 cavemen, and it said, "Props to all the humans that died, so that we could know which drugs to take."
That's good.
Golly.
Darwin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very true.
There are some animals that get high. I've seen monkeys that like eat this worm. They don't eat it; they bite it, so it secretes like this jelly, and then they rub it all over themselves, and then they just like
And they
pass
just
out.
get crazy.
Yeah, and then they let the worm go. They don't kill the worm. It's just to get that poison. I heard that dolphins like they play around with a pufferfish, you know,
To get high, yes.
to get high because that poison makes them high. Things like that, and they get all like, and
They
go
start.
all over the place.
They start doing their squeakies all
Yeah,
over.
they do. They probably have dolphin sex all high,
And it's great.
Yeah.
No.
All just like shivering. And,
They're like, you
hell?
should try it with blowfish.
Oh my gosh. I have like dolphins playing with a blowfish in my head. Like,
they do. They toss it around and everything. Like, it's.
and the poor blowfish is like, whoa.
Yeah, it's like gets big. It's like somebody die already.
I just want to die.
There's the button again.
So I don't know. Was that their purpose? Or how many? I wonder how many dolphins died to get
Before
to that
they knew that
blowfish.
they could play with it a certain way.
Yeah. Same thing with the monkey and that worm.
How did they find that out? They're like, hey, bro, look at that monkey that's tripping.
Yeah.
Hey, shh.
Same thing
Sorry,
with
no.
like humans and I guess mushrooms and weed and all that stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's weird because like if you look at the history of it, like marijuana has like certain receptors that connect to your brain. It's like, how is this plant like a perfect receptor to a brain?
Yeah.
It's like, and how do we get to that point? It's like it was meant for us to enjoy it.
Have you seen that one? It's called ayahuasca.
There we go. I
Yeah,
can't remember
I heard
the name.
about it.
I was trying to think about it.
I want to go to Costa Rica to try that.
Is that where it is?
sounds so weird. Yeah,
that where it is?
but like you don't have to ingest it or whatever. But apparently the natives of that village where they first started doing that would burn it as a ritual in order to see to have a hallucinogenic experience, and then they discovered that it was like very relaxing. I don't even know, but they put you in this like box and they like waft it at you, and so like I just think that it's kind of trippy, but it's a plant.
Yeah. I think that's how they discovered coffee too. I think some of the slaves were like chewing on this bean and they would just work more and more and they're like,
Sure,
what
because
the
of the
hell,
caffeine in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the coca leaves.
And yeah, Coca-Cola used to have Coke
for
too.
Machu Picchu.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
still like a derivative.
Yeah.
Like in Machu Picchu, when you're gonna climb it, it's so high that in order for you to breathe, you have to chew on coke leaves.
Wow. Yeah.
See, it had a purpose.
It did
Had a
have a
purpose.
purpose.
Exactly.
It had a purpose, and all of us that are not climbing Machu Picchu are like, ooh,
Started abusing it, I guess.
yeah. Then they
Yeah.
started like,
We start climbing buildings and stuff.
get off of there.
Climbing
You
through
know, there's an
windows.
elevator.
Climbing
what?
through windows
Yeah.
to pay for the coke.
Yeah,
Just-
exactly.
Dang. So, do animals have? I want to know your perspective. Sorry, that was totally my fault.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like cat biased. I feel like cats have a purpose for themselves. They're kind of like, I guess they're selfish animals, but they're not like dogs. Dogs are very selfless.
Yeah.
They are. It almost seems like they were made just for humans. They respond to humans. almost from birth. You know, they smile, they look for that gratification, almost like that purpose versus happiness thing that we were talking about earlier. That's dogs right there. It's strictly happiness for them, but they find that purpose to do that. With cats, it's more, I don't know. That's why I kind of went towards 6, because what was that?
Oops. Oh, yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, 10 is yes they do. They need purpose. I went with 6 more on the towards the yes they do side.
Yeah.
Because they also don't really care much about anything too. You know, they'll find their happiness just sitting on top of a fence. You know, in the most uncomfortable position, sleeping. You know. They
And
do
I
their own
wonder
thing.
if they're just content.
Yeah. But they're always also on the hunt. They're also always
That's
looking
true.
out for themselves. You know, they're natural hunters.
They are.
I don't know. You know, I lean closer to 5, a little bit of both. Well, cat wise.
Yeah.
Do animals need purpose as much as humans do?
All the other animals, I'm not too sure. Like dogs, definitely closer to the 1 scale. Well,
But
no,
see, and
not
even then, that's what I was gonna say. Going back to this one, with dogs, would happiness, their own happiness, give them that sense of purpose? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
they
all I want to
do.
do, all I want to do is please my master or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, so
That is their purpose. Yeah.
And then that gives them happiness.
yeah.
Every time they do something good for their master, or their master pats them on the head, good boy, they find happiness.
Treats also, bacon
Yeah.
treats.
I like treats.
So maybe they do need purpose.
But then again,
Animals
is that
need
more on the domestic animals because we're humanizing them a little bit, or like now would a wolf be the same as a dog? Or, and you could probably answer parts of this.
I'm obsessed with wolves.
Oh, tell us.
They're
tell
my
us.
favorite animal.
So would a wolf be? They
Need
would
it.
have purpose, wouldn't they?
They do have purpose.
They do.
So each wolf in the pack has a different purpose or a different job, different goals in order to keep that pack safe. But their end purpose is to keep them all alive.
I seen a meme where when they're traveling.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah, the first one is.
So the
old-
first one will be the first one is the beta. And then there goes following all of the rest of them. And the alpha goes in the back.
Yeah.
And
that's
it'll
what it
walk
was.
as slow as the eldest
Yeah.
wolf to keep them safe. And then they travel.
And see, my
But they all
argument
have
still, I guess, why I still chose on the lower end is that still purpose versus instinct. Like, are they just wired to do that, or would they choose on their own? Like I want to go start my own pack or whatever. Like,
Well, I guess we're
You know
all
what I mean?
wired in a sense.
It's very difficult for them to start their own pack, right? So
Right.
one of them will get kicked out of the pack, and then that's considered to be the lone wolf. And the only way the lone wolf finds a pack of his own is if they start a pack of their own, and they would have to find another, another male or female, just depending on what they are, to start a pack. But even at that pack is very weak, so they can get killed and eaten by other packs. So their purpose is to stay alive. That's the
Yeah.
purpose of their
See-
life, is to stay alive.
what's the difference
Right.
from that and instinct?
Instinct is what facilitates the purpose.
So I saw an interview where this guy was living with a tribe, and they were hunting monkeys. And the monkeys, they're all you can hear them. You can hear them. Of course, it was all translated. You can hear them over there. They know that we're coming. But we'll hunt them once either I forgot whether the sun went down or the sun was coming up. One of the two. But eventually they hunted the monkeys. They grabbed them. They ate and everything like that. So they started after they had eaten. The interviewer was asking them questions like that we would feel that kind of like these kind of questions. They asked the dude what is happiness to you, and the dude was like hunting, and what is your sense of accomplishment, and they had to kind of translate that a certain way, and he's like finding food. And he's like, what do you look forward in the future? He's like, being able to find food, and he's all like, well, how do you feel death is? Like, what is death to you? Is there an afterlife? And he described how somebody passed away, they buried him, they do something. I forgot. It's almost like ceremonial. I don't know if they hunt it for them, or they hunt it under his name or something like that. But it was all like based on hunting. You know, that was their entire purpose. And these are humans. You know, they're almost like feral humans, like animals. Yeah. You know, so it's like you kind of see that side of humans. You know, it's like that was the most simplistic way of having happiness. But at the same time, it's like, wow, you know, that's so. Do animals have purpose? It's like about as much as those humans, I think. You know, and they were able to talk about what happiness meant for them. So maybe if you ask an animal, if you're able to speak their language, maybe that's what their happiness is. The cat, you know.
Survival.
Yeah. If I ask Max, hey, are you happy? Meow. You know.
It's like, I don't know if that means yes or no, dude.
Yeah.
What is it? I just want to die. Oh, you see, that's still super hard because, again, maybe they all have their different purpose.
Yeah, and they do. I saw that dingoes from Australia. They hunt alone, and they only do pack stuff when they're hunting bigger animals. But other than that, it's all on their own.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I wanted to study like when they hook up with a pack, like how does that work? Like, do they know what their purpose, purpose is? Does one of them like, you know, let the big animal chase them down while the other ones just kind of?
They have to.
They have to,
right?
Yeah,
they have to have that.
But if you're a lone animal, how do you find that? Like, how do you communicate? You know?
Yeah, well, like communicate your strengths and weaknesses, kind of deal.
Exactly. Because I seen.
What are you good at, bro? I'm like,
yeah. I'm good at eating. It's like.
Says the fat one in the back.
Yeah. I seen dingoes hunt sharks out of the
really?
Boats. Yeah. I was like, how do they do that?
What? I gotta watch it. A dingo ate my baby.
Yeah. They're very.
Wow, that's really fascinating.
Vicious animals.
Dingoes.
Yeah.
Did you know someone she just told me the platypus? Did
you know the platypus is
poisonous?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was like, I was about to pick up the next one.
Stab you with a thumb.
Yeah.
Oh, death.
Totally worth it. Just kidding.
You're so cute.
Daffy Duck killed me.
And you know that they don't even have stomachs?
No.
No.
So what do they do? Like,
I don't know. I don't know where they get their nutrients from. I mean, they eat, but they don't have any teeth, so they put a bunch of rocks in their mouth to grind up the food for them.
Really?
And then I'm wondering, like, if it just goes like into a little sack or something.
What
but
do
then
they
wouldn't
eat?
that be called their stomach? I think they eat fish and like algae and stuff, don't they?
I have no idea.
I don't know, but this is going to be interesting to go look through.
Yeah.
Purpose. Do they need purpose as much as humans do?
As much as humans do? Well, I guess it would be subjective because in the end they're just trying to build a nest and have their family. They're not trying to have like the Corvette. You know? Although I don't know because some animals like.
Look at my dam is better than your dam.
They do because how do they attract the females? They'll make like these nests, or they'll have like the biggest feathers, or they'll do like weird dances.
And their purpose is to
colors.
procreate.
Yeah, which is no different than us humans. And
You
we'll
know,
wear the bracelets, the Gucci shoes, and whatever, to attract the female.
Do animals need purpose as much as humans?
Maybe they're not so, different from us.
Yeah, actually, what made me think of this question was the whole movie. We saw a documentary called Christspiracy, and it was pretty much.
Go. Let me take another shot.
It was essentially it was pretty much like how the church has been covering up a conspiracy for animals, or so they posed the question at the very beginning: is there an ethical way to kill an animal? Like, if Jesus had to kill an animal, how would he kill an animal? And so they go ask a bunch of religious leaders, and pretty much it was kind of inconclusive. It's like no, and so they said that there's been that probably Jesus would not kill an animal, and so there was no ethical way to kill an animal. And so they show a bunch of stuff like from.
He ate fish, though, right?
Wasn't
there a lot of fish
Yes and no. What happened? They did mention the fish story,
they actually mentioned that.
Yeah.
And apparently he did not.
Yeah, that's right.
But
they
he
didn't.
I think they had discovered that in the actual text, the Bible that we have, it says that he may have, but then when you go to the original writings, like the original
Hebrew stuff or whatever it is,
it doesn't translate the same. So he may never have had access to fish. Apparently, he was eating a lot of olives and berries and nuts and like the things that were native to that region, which were not a lot of.
And a lot
things.
of sense. And a lot of other people, like I think,
they're like,
John,
he ate lambs and
John
stuff.
the Baptist.
He couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
His family was very poor. His father was a carpenter, right, and his mother was taking care of his siblings.
And apparently found evidence that like John the Baptist was a vegetarian or something also. So it was like,
and that's how they ended up naming the group called Nazareans, like of Nazareth. How they say Jesus of Nazareth.
Yeah.
It wasn't translated. It's not actually translated from that text. It's not Jesus of Nazareth, like from that place. Nazareth didn't exist until 200 years after he had already died. But it was a lifestyle, like a vegetarian Nazarene. Nazareth. And so that's kind of what they had pulled. Anyway, we watched that documentary, and I haven't been able to eat a cow since.
Really?
Yes. And steak is my favorite food in the world. But they showed this cow, like, crying. Like, it was, like, bawling.
Yeah.
And I was like, no! And I got sad.
Yeah, I've seen
so now
some
I
of
can't
those
eat.
documentaries.
I mean,
like,
I guess I think, like, if we go to cattlemen's where I know more or less how they raise the cow and treat the cow and take care of it and then kill it, then maybe I would do that. But
you've seen those videos, or have you seen those videos?
on how they butcher them?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
They show some of it, like the way that they have them going up the ramps, and then they squish them in there, so like they're forced to go, and the cow is like fighting to go back because they freaking know that they're gonna go and die.
I'm pretty sure they can smell it.
Can you imagine if we can smell it,
Yeah.
and our nose is way smaller than their nose? They smell the blood
They smell
of
death.
Like, oh man, I just can't. It makes me sad. So,
in that case, they're like, I don't want to die.
unless you have one that's like, oh hell yeah, get this over with.
Yeah.
I just want to die.
I just want to die.
And then they do the poof, and it doesn't kill him.
Oh yeah, they start
Cheers,
like moving and
guys,
stuff.
to happiness.
All right, to
and to finding purpose in life, I guess.
Purpose.
You have a new line too, okay?
All right, cool.
Do animals need purpose as much as humans do? Okay, so after this shot, it made me think that maybe we're the same as animals, but because of our sophisticated language systems and our ability to communicate our needs and wants, we created this word purpose.
Or we have more sophisticated purposes. I don't know.
Well,
I don't think the bird wants the shiny stuff, you know.
Well, there are some birds that want shiny.
Yeah, but that's just to attract.
And maybe that's what the purpose of that individual was. Get the shiny to attract. I'm good. Give me this. I'm better. Give me this. Look at me now. Look what I have. Aren't you proud of what I have? Maybe it was some... But you know this person well, so you tell us. Like, was their purpose to attract and to get the pats on the back along the way?
I mean, the story's yet to be written, so I don't know. You know.
Dang. I don't know. And then, like, how true are people to what they're saying?
Exactly.
You know, I could be like, oh, look, I have this and I have that. Okay, well, why do you want it, Vero? Oh, well, this is what I want. Mm-hmm. But then when I go and I cry myself to sleep at night, that's actually not what I want. Yeah. What I wanted was for you to tell me, good job, mija. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, how do you know what a person... I think animals are way better at telling us what they want and what they need and showing us that their purpose in life is to please or to whatever than a person, because sometimes people have ways of changing their words to make a person think a certain way of them when in actuality that's not what they actually wanted.
Yeah, because I've seen like animals just in people's backyards just playing with a ball all by themselves, and there's videos of,
yeah.
and
they're
then-
happy pushing it around. Yeah.
or you'll see like bears jumping on a trampoline, and it's like, wow, that's, and they're happy,
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, it's maybe,
But even with that, like the bear jumping on a trampoline, is his purpose to, I'm going to go find my next happy moment, to like, let's see what else I can find.
that was
Or,
probably by accident.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa.
The hell is this? Yeah.
Whoa. It keeps going.
Yeah.
This is my new purpose, to find
My
more
new purpose in
trampolines.
life. Trampoline daily.
And then they kill a kid, and next thing you know, they're on the run.
That
and-
kid wasn't bouncy.
Oh my gosh.
So,
They're being hunted, and
he's all yelling at me, bouncy.
Damn, I love watching those stupid bear videos. Have you seen them? They just like flat up try walking into these people's houses.
yeah.
This is that one lady with a chancla with an alligator. Did you guys see that? The little dog is like
Oh, yeah.
walking around her, and this lady is like watching, and there's this whole bunch, like 5 alligators coming towards them. This woman pulls off her chancla, goes like this, like, and the alligator's like, woo, swerve. Like,
Remember the bear that fixed the traffic cone?
oh yeah.
There was one, like,
Oh,
I think it was
wow.
like from Yosemite, and like there's like cars and stuff around, so he's just kind of walking down the road, and there's a traffic cones. And one of them's toppled over, and he comes across the toppled over one, and he like puts it back up and just keeps walking. I was like, "What the hell?"
You're better than some humans.
Yeah, like yeah,
Mr. Bear.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A human would be like, oh, I fell over.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the bear's like, oh, let me fix that.
That's hilarious.
Or did the bear think, look, there's a pattern. These have
Yeah.
to be there for my protection.
Maybe.
knows?
Instinct. I don't know. Oh, this topic was way more difficult than I
Yeah,
thought.
Yeah.
Wait till the next one.
Just kidding.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to go back and give our new
Subjective
scores.
then, right?
Wait, we have to give our new scores.
Yeah. So this one.
Okay. I'm ready. Whoops. I'm missing my pen over here. What do your drawings and stuff look like when you're drunk? Do they change? I mean, not that you ever
No.
get drunk or anything, but
Oh, I do. No, but I guess it depends, because I don't really like, if I'm doing an official piece, I don't want to mess it up.
Right,
so, like,
right.
Yeah, if it's like, yeah.
you ever
somewhere in
just
between.
doodle for fun though?
Oh yeah, doodle and
At work.
At work, yeah, that's the main place right there. On the weekends, sometimes I'll go to like Barnes and Noble, come up with ideas. Sometimes like I'm watching videos or something like that, and an idea will come, and I'll like doodle it real quick before it goes away. Concepts, like all sorts of stuff, and it's weird because like it could come from anywhere. I could just be. I went to this concert one time, and just seeing the band and everything like that, made me just snapshot it, and everything else got pushed back, and I needed to do that piece, and that's where that cat one, the 3 cats on the stage, and then all the cats around like that, that's where that one came into play. And literally everything that the cats are doing are stuff that I saw around me.
That's cool.
I saw the one hot girl and like the dude coming over to kind of talk to her. The dudes over there that I'm pretty sure were dealing drugs. The one dude that was mad and he was violent. He was like banging on the stuff. So I drew Felix all angry and stuff. The short people, trying to like look and stuff. So I did Stimpy, kind of like, it was all like to the people that I saw.
Dang.
It was crazy.
Cool.
Dang.
So it comes from anywhere.
That's really cool that you're able to see it, interpret it, and then do it.
It just comes sometimes. It's just like, that's it right there. That's gotta be
Oh,
it.
that's so perfect, though. Because
Yeah.
I see it, and I'm like, ooh, I wonder if there's anybody that can draw this. And then the idea goes away, like, 5 years later. I don't remember. Damn it. Just take pictures of everything now.
Yeah, and that helps out too. In pictures and stuff, and then somehow my brain just grabs stuff from everywhere, So the idea of the cats, I was like, okay, I'm not just gonna do any cat. I'm gonna do like all those B character cats, So you have like Stimpy and Wolf Felix in a sense, but like I drew MC Scat Cat from that Paula Abdul video.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on there. Of course, Chester Cheetah. which was before that Cheetah movie came out, the one about the potato chips. I never even saw it. The one about the creator of it, and
I didn't see it.
No,
I
I
know
didn't
which one
either.
it is, but I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either. And so when people were like looking at the drawing, they're like, "Oh, look, Chester Cheetah! I want to get this." So
And you're like,
that
sure,
movie
yeah, buy
itself, yeah, sold a lot of my prints.
it. Nice.
Yeah, and that was by pure chance, you know.
That's cool. Dang.
I'm like, hey, that works.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I like drawing those little B characters, those sub characters, you know.
The cows.
Again, what would your if you have a new number? What do you running a business? One applicant has lived on their own since 18. The other applicant has lived with their parents. Which one's the more mature?
I think I still have to stick with the 8.
Same.
Yeah, because even if the person is mature that live with their parents but they're
Should've
taking
written
care of them,
whatever.
then they're gonna be calling out. You still have to be dependent on somebody, you know, and I don't know, but it kind of
Yeah.
sucks too, you know, because what if the person that's been living by themselves since they were 18 is a single mom and she's got like a kid or two and she's
Yeah.
doing it all on her own? She's gonna be calling out about as much as the dude that lives with his parents that's taking care of
Yeah.
him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it depends on the situation, I guess.
You same?
But I would
7.
lean more on the.
Yeah, I mean, that one's hard, right? Because what if they also possess every quality that you wanted in an employee?
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean, depends on if it's their first job also. Like, am I going to give them a chance? Do they fulfill all the other requirements?
All right. So this one, number 2. Which side are you on? Does having purpose find happiness, or does happiness give you purpose? Or are they the same thing?
Yeah, I'm probably not a 1. I'd probably be more. I'd probably go towards a 4. But still on the side of the purpose. No, like a 3 or a 4. 3.5. Can I do that?
Sure.
I think I might have moved to, well, like a 3 still.
Yeah, I think that's a
I
good
think I'm
number.
going to put mine at a 5, actually. I think it's more of a, instead of a line like being linear, I think it's a circle. Like either it's like chicken and the egg. Who knows which one comes first, but they both feed each other. Like,
But you see, that's why that's not fair.
why?
Because that's not what 5 says. 5 says they are both the same thing. Both the same thing means this pen is the same color as this pen. That's the same. If they were both black, that's the same. They're both pens, but this is green and this is black. So I don't think that they're the same.
If I was colorblind, maybe. Just
That would probably be like black and blue.
kidding.
Well, I don't know. Let's ask you. You're the one
I don't
with
know.
colors.
If one feeds into the other and the other one has to feed into the other, like a symbiotic relationship, would it be the same? Because one can't
Maybe.
survive without the other,
Right.
and both are
Right.
benefiting from the other.
I guess
It's
mostly.
like Venom.
I guess
Yeah,
mostly.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
because I was looking
Yeah,
right
yeah,
at him when I thought that up.
And you said that. As soon as you said symbiotic, I was like, Venom.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
he's
like-
right there. He's right there. Okay, so like,
Oh, and there too.
but even at that, so the same thing, the same Venom thing or whatever, infects somebody bad, and then you end up getting carnage.
Yeah, but the whole relationship with each other is like they both benefit from it.
But it's like parasite and host.
It's a parasite technically, but they both. So a real life parasite that benefits off its host, and the host benefits from the parasite is. What would be an example of that?
I'm trying to think of that, like tapeworm,
Say that
because it
again?
keeps you skinny even though you feel miserable.
Yeah, but that one's totally parasitic.
What about what's that, mistletoe and like cottonwood trees?
I don't know.
So mistletoe is a parasite essentially for it, but it lives on it and it takes its water, but it doesn't kill it. Okay, but let's think more of like a person. No, parasites are parasitic and they always mess you up.
It's like having a hot girlfriend, or like you have great sex, but she's taking everything you got. But she keeps you happy in the bed. I don't know, you know.
What about being pregnant?
Well, they say that's a total parasite though, because it's totally dependent.
It's awful.
But also, like, they wouldn't just get rid of it to like, hey, stop feeding stop mooching off of me. You know what I mean?
Well, because you can't, because it's eating you.
Yeah, it's eating you. Yeah.
Oh well.
And then it fucks you up.
Maybe.
Well, it's not eating you. It's like eating from you. Like, I could see if you remove it, that you would die, but that's not the case.
I got it. Gut bacteria. Isn't gut bacteria technically a symbiotic relationship?
Oh, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
because it just lives there, and it helps you digest the food.
And if you got rid of it?
You get sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you get C. diff, because then it's well, it's the same thing like white blood cells, right?
Well, no, because white blood cells don't do any damage to you. Well, unless you have like lymphoma or something.
But then they group together, and then you end up with some kind of cancer.
Yeah, the lymphomas.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that comes from like mutations and stuff.
It's at first like fine, like it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm leaning towards a hot girlfriend. A hot crazy girlfriend.
Whatever works for your
crazy
brain.
girlfriend.
I've had a couple of those.
All your money. Hot and crazy. And then you just have to train her.
Yeah, they're untrainable.
I was trainable.
That's really good.
Oops.
Yeah, but you're able to, no, the parasitic hot crazy girlfriend are the ones that just take. They don't contribute, except for in the bed, but that's something.
You can rent her out, but then just kidding.
Yes.
But then you're considered. I'm just kidding. This is not going anywhere good. I'm gonna stop talking about that one. Let's see. What was the question? Does having purpose? Oh, it's because you're saying that they're both the same.
Yeah, and I guess more like
symbiotic.
I guess symbiotic is a better word, but like it
Of course
seems
they're
to
symbiotic, but we had to pick one.
It seems to be that like even from what we talked about, like there's no. It's hard to tell which one starts first. Like, do you have the purpose first, and then you get happiness as a side effect from it, or once you get
But yeah, because what if you're like doing something that makes you happy, and then you're like, oh wow, I found purpose in this. This is whatever.
Yeah.
And then you go from it. So I don't think that they're both the same still.
But I think it's a cycle, I guess.
Yeah, because even when I started drawing, I was drawing just for me.
Yeah.
And then like when I started showing people and stuff like that, oh, you should sell. It's like, selling? What do you mean? So I had to go and like see what other people did, what these shows consisted of. And then it wasn't until like 2 years later that I started, like, I did my first show. And I was like, oh, wow, that was actually kind of cool. And so I did the next show. And then from there I started learning. It was like, why don't you sell prints? I was like, what the hell are prints? And, and then I learned. And the next thing you know, it's like, what it is now, and the more and I'm still learning too, The 3D stuff has only happened like, 2-3 years ago?
Really?
Yeah. So it's still a evolving, process. But that one totally started just because I was trying to make myself happy and no intention of selling or anything like that. I was just miserably depressed.
Dang.
I wonder if it's with that guy that you're saying, the artist that was in prison that was drawing golf courses. He was just trying to pull himself out of depression, did something that made him happy. Yeah. Little did he know that he was going to find his purpose in life and help himself out of a endless hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of holes.
It kind of like paid for my car too, so it's like able to process, so it's,
And then that brings you happiness.
Yeah, because now I'm able to take my stuff out of town because the other car wouldn't have made it,
Yeah. Did you guys see how to run yourself out of a hole? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
You're like, whoop.
And then,
What happens if you get stuck like halfway then? You're like,
you just fall.
Oh God, just keep running. Oh, poof.
Yeah, or you trip.
Yeah. Oh.
And you break your leg. Now you can't run.
Now you gotta get somebody to haul you out of the hole.
Yeah.
That's funny. Oop, I spit on you. I'm sorry. Damn, numbing liquids.
So So did we even choose a number? Oh, I did. I chose
still
5
go by
and
3.5. Now it's like, now I kind of like agree with you. Maybe it's a 5. Maybe it's symbiotic.
But it doesn't say that. You put they are both the same, because otherwise I would have been at a 5.
Purpose.
They're dependent. They're codependent. Oh, I'm stuck on a thing.
I'm still going with the 5.
So we're just gonna change what your words are?
This is our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
Because then we're all gonna end up at a 5, because they are symbiotic and they're both dependent on each other.
Yeah, I'd like to change my answer to a 1, to a 3.5, to a /5 now.
So we're changing the definition of what they are the same thing, because they're not the same thing.
I think
You're
I'm
not
going.
the same thing.
You know what? Maybe like
three
in the
shots.
future it'll be like maybe they're symbiotic. But then symbiotic does that? No, yeah, but then that would
Because
be
they're dependent on each other, right?
Are they dependent on each other? I guess that could be a secondary question. Are they the same thing or are they symbiotic?
Well, then we're gonna. Well, I think we all agree that they're symbiotic. But my
Not
argument
everyone,
is words. So if you change those words, they are both the same thing.
What?
If you get rid of 5, they are both the same thing, and you just leave symbiotic, then we're all in agreement. They are all symbiotic. They are symbiotic, but they are not the same thing. Even Venom and his host is not the same thing.
No, they're not.
They're 2 different things. How can you have this one person and then you have its thing
Well, they're the same
attached
purpose,
to it,
though.
and then the thing that's attached to it?
Not
But they
purpose
have
and
this-
happiness being the same thing is which one comes before the other? So does having purpose find happiness, or does happiness give you purpose? Are those 2 things the same thing?
You gotta remember that Venom also shares the same hatred towards Spider-Man. They both hate Spider-Man. The symbiote because Spider-Man rejected him, and Eddie Brock because he got fired because of Peter Parker.
Not, yeah. Well,
Well, if you go by the comic book.
But they're still
yeah.
not the same thing.
no, but I'm
But
saying
they share the same thing.
You know,
Yeah, but he could also not eat a person without his symbiote.
Well, he can, but he probably gets sick.
He would get sick, and he would have a really hard time killing it.
Well, Jeffrey Dahmer didn't get sick.
He didn't get sick?
No.
You don't think at first? Just threw up a little in his mouth, like heartburn or something?
I don't know. You know?
Depends on the person, I guess.
Yeah.
Ew, that was maniacal, that one.
Cheers to that.
Damn it! I don't have enough drink. Wait for me.
All right, we'll wait for you.
Wait for me.
Depends on the person.
The way that he did, it wasn't even like a little chuckle. We're gonna need that buttoned and replayed. Cheers.
Cheers.
Jeez Louise. I agree
Y'all ever
that they
heard
are
of-
symbiotic. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
On a side note, y'all ever heard of Isai Sagawa?
No.
What'd you just say?
Isai Sagawa. He's I don't know if he's considered a serial killer, but he definitely is a killer. So he killed this young lady, strangled her, and ate portions of her. I forgot if it was in China or somewhere. It was outside the U.S. So he got jailed, but because of some kind of like mental illness, I forget the story. He's actually free now, and you know, he's actually seen as a celebrity. People go up to him; they know exactly who he is. They take pictures with him and everything like that. You know, so he's fought off the urges to like eat somebody else. You know, he's made comments of his crimes and everything like that. You know, but going by what you were saying, there's certain portions of the human body that he actually tasted and liked better than others. There was some that was just like, bleh, you know.
What did he not like?
He didn't like. He thought eyeballs were kind of gross. I believe he said he liked. He liked butt cheeks
Apparently, butt cheeks are the best.
because they're very meaty. Yeah.
And like fatty, right?
Yeah.
So like you get like a good mix. It's like the Kobe beef of
Right.
butt.
Yeah. I don't think he liked breasts, and then he ate like the genitalia. He didn't like that either.
He didn't like. Oh.
Yeah.
Did you? Speaking of eating genitalia, there was a chef who chopped off his wang and cooked it for these people, and they each paid thousands of dollars.
They knew?
They knew! They paid to eat his shit!
I've heard of somebody else doing that, but he was asking for a volunteer, and the volunteer voluntarily went and got himself eaten and stuff like that. You know, of course the guy went to jail. You know, but
what in the world?
yeah, there's some people that do that. I don't know, but yeah, according depends on who you eat.
Mike Tyson. You could ask
totally
Tyson
right.
how the ear tastes.
Yeah.
The ear taste, yeah. Sorry.
A
All
little
right.
stretchy. Just kidding.
Oh, you guys, you both went like, "Ma!" And I was like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? So they're symbiotes. Yes? Is that what we end up? They're symbiotic?
Yeah.
Sure.
You just left me as a 3 to look like a jerk?
No, you haven't said.
Okay, 5. If they're symbiotic, but they're not the same thing.
Well, they don't have to.
So it's not a 5.
But symbiotic is not the same thing.
No, it's
Is
not.
symbiotic the same thing? What is
No,
the
no, but-
definition?
It's not so much that it's the same thing, but it's that they have the same purpose.
Now you're confusing me because you're using the same word.
The same thing and same purpose? No, because like the enemy of my enemy is my friend type of deal, even though he's your enemy, the guy over there that he's enemies with is your friend, it's different. It's now you both have the same purpose, but you two are enemies.
Dang.
I don't know. Did that make sense?
Sort
Yes.
of. Yeah, I think
Okay.
I understand. Denoting a mutual. I can't read anymore.
Sounds like
Mutuality.
Yeah, there you go.
Beneficial relationship between different people or groups.
You see, it doesn't have to be the same.
I think it's a beneficial
They don't have to be the
relationship.
same.
But why is symbiotic just in biology? Because it says it references organisms.
Yeah, that's what it. I think it's just metaphor from that.
Commensalis
Yeah, it's the purpose.
between 2 or more dissimilar organisms.
Yeah.
Okay,
Those
5.
darn letters moving again.
They are. I almost have to do the living together in more or less intimate association or close union of 2 dissimilar organisms.
It's like Wizard of Oz.
A cooperative relationship.
They all had different purpose, and they all were going to see the wizard.
Right.
5.
Wow.
Ay. But it's so weird. Okay. I still don't agree that they're the same thing. But I do agree that they feed each other and facilitate forward motion.
Yeah.
And number 3, how similar are animals to humans?
I love animals.
And do animals need purpose as much as humans do?
I think.
Wait, mine. Did I switch? I switched the numbers, right? I was the 4 and you were the 6 the first time?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, right?
So now I think I'm gonna have to go to 8. Still on that side.
Veronica? Well, I go to 6 too.
Maybe an 8. I didn't realize how much God, maybe a 9.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
9. I didn't realize how much. Oh, poor animals.
Yeah.
I didn't know how much. When you started telling me about I want one. You agree, right? That they would be fine, taking it for walks at the park?
Yeah. Eat their grass,
We're doing you a favor. We're mowing that we don't need to use city money to mow the lawn.
I'm going to show you the video because they're much more adorable when they're moving. And now that I know that you're not going to leave the house, you're just I'm out of this.
So what was your...
If the cow came in right here, I'd be like, hey, what's up, cow?
Hi,
What's
Joe.
up,
And then massage it so you can eat it.
Yeah. I mean, you feel the most meatiest part.
The rupture just been...
Here we go.
Look
Come
at
here.
this. Look at that.
The way they run.
Yeah.
They're cute.
This is like floppy puppies.
Oh,
Just
it's
a big
on his
puppy.
tongue when you pet under his
He's all.
his chin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be hard for me to eat him.
Happiness gives you purpose. Yeah, I think that they probably have much more purpose than we assume that they do.
Mm-hmm. They have their own purpose.
Yeah, and just because it's not our own or we can't name it doesn't mean that they don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't quite understand that, like when you were saying that, or like there's some videos of the elk that go into the middle of the road and they're like yelling
yeah,
for
you're right.
help, and it's because their friend is stuck in like a mud bog,
Mm.
and then they like get them out. I mean, maybe they're
Yeah.
all different too, right? Maybe some of them don't have as much.
Because I've seen cats like be proud of their offspring, and they'll go show the human. Hey, check out my offspring.
That and don't
But-
they bring you gifts and stuff too?
Yeah, my cat does. Yeah. Yeah, that's yesterday. She, I think it was Max. So he killed a bird earlier in the day, and I was taking pictures of him with like the pieces of the bird all over, right? And I posted it on Facebook. But I guess he was curious. You know, it's like, wow, this guy like really likes my bird. You know, so later on in the day, I got ready and everything. This was was it Friday? Was it Saturday? I forgot what day. It's on my Facebook, but I went back. I fed him and everything. I was like, all right, I'll be back, cats. And so I was going to my car, and I saw this. They had left a dead black bird in the back of my car. You know, and I was just like, wow. You know, it's like I guess he saw me curious with the bird,
And he's like, he
here
likes
you
it.
go. Yeah, here's a bird for you.
And he knew that you were gonna go to your car, so he put it there.
Yeah, like it's a surprise.
Aww.
I thought that bird died right there, right in back of my car. You know.
No,
But they
probably
done that
not.
though. They left lizards. They left. The creepiest thing that they did was one time they killed a bird, and they left the heart right on my doormat.
Oh, jeez.
The heart. It's like, wow, dude. How would they know what the heart is? What it
Like,
looks
this
like?
thing is still
It's
moving.
like I was hungry, but I left you a little piece.
Yeah, you know, but it's the heart. You know, the motor of the human body, of any body, of mammals. How would an animal leave the heart?
That's really interesting.
Yeah, if I was a serial killer, I'd probably kill somebody and leave the heart for somebody, you know, but because it's
Did you
affectionate,
hear-
you know. But for an animal to do that?
Did you hear about that lady, the one that they caught here in El Paso? But she would dismember them, and then she would place the heart next to a picture of them or something like that.
No.
This
She
was
was like
weeks
a-
ago.
Like a cartel woman from
Really?
Mexico or something
Yes,
like that.
but it was
But
just-
they caught her here in the El Paso side. of the
Maybe
US.
it was like 2 months, but she looked like she didn't look psycho in the eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can look at somebody and you're like, oh, something's off. No, typical. Like you could have seen her at the mall.
Wow. Well,
It's
that's my
very
cat right there.
Yeah,
Max
that's
the
my
cat.
cat.
And he has his own Facebook page.
Oh, I'm gonna follow him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that they probably have just as much, or maybe they do need purpose
And also the other thing that kind of made me change
for happiness.
my mind a little too. Did you see? I don't know if this is true, but I saw a video. It was a crab. Remember the crab that threw himself in the fire? That apparently
Some crabs
crabs are
commit
known
suicide.
are known
I
to
just
commit
wanna
suicide.
die.
Yeah. And so, if there's purpose, maybe there's also a lack of purpose. Like I'm done. Like go in here and
Yeah, touche.
Yeah.
I want pizza.
I wonder if there's any animals that like purposely committed suicide on
Crabs.
video. Well, besides that one.
Crabs, shrimp.
Yeah, so she's a
Um,
crab. Like they
I
had
was telling. I know it's a different kind of crab, but like some crustaceans actually do it. Hermit crabs.
Yeah.
Like some people, when they're in captivity, they'll leave them different shells so they can grow into.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them purposefully stay out of the shells to dry up and die.
Wow. I saw there's this fungus that invades, it's a parasitic fungus that invades ants. And have you
Yes,
seen
they're
that?
like
Yeah.
zombies,
Well,
and they
what-
just like go.
the crazy part is that they act normal when cows aren't around. They'll go about their daily business. But when cows are around, they'll go to like a leaf that's on the very tip, and you know how cows eat grass. So they'll basically kill themselves so that parasite can invade the cow, and it'll grow, and it has the little ova, so it'll poop, and that's when the ants come and eat the poop, and it begins the cycle all over again. But how does the fungus know when the cows are around and know how to make the ant go to the grass, the tip of the grass? That's the part that they don't understand.
That's the thing that, like, I keep thinking with, like, instinct versus the actual purpose. Like, are you actually manipulating this, or is it just, like, pre-wired in your brain? There's some sensor that we can't detect, I guess, that they know is there.
Something. They kind of, like, equated it to, like, zombies, like the way you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole zombie invasion, you know, like we get bit and all of a sudden we start craving flesh and, you know, we're dead, but we're hungry. Yeah.
Shit, that's like mind-blowing.
Or Dahmer and Sagawa, you know.
I want to look up that guy. I love true crime stuff and, like...
Oh, that guy's an interesting take.
All that weird... because the people are... It's very interesting, the way that they're so lifeless, almost.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, like how... I saw that documentary on Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the... My cousin was actually his friend.
That's crazy, yeah.
And, like, they hung out. And I was like, what in the world? And, I want to talk to my cousin about it. But at the same time, I don't want to know some of the things, you know? Because, like, it truly scared me. I was like, damn, like, I got to close the window. Like, this guy is just going to come into the window and kill for no reason. Like,
there's a lot of slippery slopes on that, too. Because if you think about it, like, when you're overseas and you're in the military, you go and kill people, you know, overseas and stuff, you know. They're people that you just murder.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
But when you come back and then they turn into cops, you know, hypothetically, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of true. They turn into cops and, you know, the first chance they get to draw weapons, they do.
Yeah.
You know, I fear for my life or whatever, you know, just to put like 20 holes and 2 clips and like some dude that, you know, wouldn't have his hands on the steering wheel.
Yep. I've thought of that. I was actually talking to Sal about that, because there are certain people that are drawn to certain fields because it is what makes them happy. It keeps them low-key sane.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it is normal for you to go and shoot all of these people. You need to. That is your job to do. They drew a weapon. I had to.
Yeah.
When did they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It turns out to be a cell phone or something, you know?
You know? And so I think that people are also drawn to it because, I don't know, like Dexter. Did you ever watch Dexter?
Yeah. That was one of the few series that I actually did watch.
We have the big box. Oh, we have to show it to you right now. We'll show it to you. But he got into the field. He wasn't squeamish with it, but he did it with a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so even those individuals, even though we could compare them to more of a primal brain, still have a purpose.
I don't even think it's primal because, like, if you think about it, like,
it's sophisticated, isn't it?
Cats don't kill other cats just for the hell of it.
Pleasure of killing.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm gonna kill that guy. Maybe well, I don't know, because cats do kill like insects and stuff like that just to play around with them.
Well, it was an accident. Yeah, our dogs were playing with a bird. They didn't know that they were gonna kill it. Oh God, they knew they were gonna kill it.
Yeah, because like one time I remember I was feeding my cat, and you know I had the fancy feast and everything, and then she sees this bird, and like she's looking at the food, and then she sees the bird,
fixated on it,
and then she goes over there, and she went over there and she killed the bird, and then she brought it over here and was eating the bird in front of the food that I was feeding her.
Isn't that kind of instinctual for them? Do you think? Do you think that their brain is so much drawn to the hunt of it, that they have to?
Well, Max did it yesterday. Even though he knows that I gave him the fancy feast, you know.
He's like, that ain't fancy enough. It's not fresh, thank you.
Yeah, and then he killed another bird because I was curious. You know?
Yeah, he wanted. He's all, here, Dad.
Yeah, here you go. I can kill again. Just ask, you know.
Just tell me what you want me to do. You're like, you see all of those? See all those pigeons? Go get them.
Yeah. So, purpose.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I love it.
Probably a 9 or a 10 now.
I know. I just convinced myself.
Can I put 6/8/10?
Sure.
That's gonna be the most definite one.
Yeah, that's all the scenarios, right?
Yeah.
Before we finish it off, we were both curious that you had sent the cheese experiment one. What was that? What was the whole cheese thing about?
Oh, with the dreams?
Yeah.
I'm totally down to be the
She's
guinea
a big
pig.
cheese person.
I'm a huge cheeser. Like, I love cheese.
So, I ran across this. I'm real big on dreams. I write down my dreams. Well, at least I used to very consistently. I need to get back into the practice of that. I have a whole dream journal, and so that's helped me remember a lot of dreams a little bit more vividly. You know, I'm able to see, dream of colors. I'm able to smell smells.
Wow.
I'm able to feel fabric, like everything.
Damn.
You know, so I get confused sometimes with dreams. Like, damn, was that real and stuff? You know, and it's real crazy. I ran across this article where it talked about how certain cheese, depending on the type of cheese, makes you dream certain kinds of dreams. One of the things that it said is that cheddar makes you dream of celebrities. Lancashire makes you dream very vividly, like crazy stuff. And it's because of the tryptophan that's in it that people feel that, you know, that experiment like that. But the experiment itself wasn't very concrete because it didn't take into account body weight or temperature or, you know, things like that, you know, or the person in it. But they did find those definite things that happen, like, you know, a higher percentage than, let's say, some of the other cheeses and stuff, you know. So I was really interested in that. So I started like doing an experiment on my own. I started like,
Did you really?
yeah, I started like eating like, I went for cheddar first, and then white cheese, the Munster one, Munster. And then I started mixing them up together. I started like, well, let me try the Mexican blend, you know, the one that has like 4 cheeses, you know. And so like a lot of my dreams started getting like weird and crazy, you know. I believe it was the Munster one, the one that made me dream. It was either that one or the Mexican blend that made me dream of nostalgic, like let's say high school and stuff like that. Dang. Mixed in with like let's say like celebrity, or mixed in with like surrealist type of stuff, you know. And I think Munster was probably my favorite one because that one, like, I was able to go back in time in my head, and at the time I needed that because I was going through a depression, and so like I needed to go back and see some of the stuff. In a sense, I was able to correct some of the things in my head through those dreams because I was able to see, okay, I should have done this instead of that, and I had that opportunity. It's like, oh, okay, I'm back in time now. What should I have done? And then I would do that, and then, you know, of course I would wake up and I was like, oh man, that was crazy, you know.
Dang.
Yeah, so it was
Like, you kind of had control in your dreams.
in a sense, yeah. Well, I was able to see the choice.
Yeah.
You know, not so much. I guess that would be control, wouldn't it? Because everything was playing out exactly how it was, but now I had the knowledge from the future to be able to go back, and I was there. You know, I was like Marty McFly. You know, I was like, damn, I could have done this, or I could have done that.
Dang, that's so cool. I think that's crazy that you bring that up because I typically don't dream of like the past much.
Mm-hmm.
But the other day I had a quesadilla
What
with
was it
Munster.
with? Oh,
with
really?
Munster. And I dreamt of my grandma, who is
Uh-huh.
not welcome in my dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I thought it was interesting to be able to control a dream because my conscious mind realized you're dreaming of your grandma.
Yeah.
And then my subconscious mind, the dream, I was like, get out.
Mm-hmm.
You are not welcome here.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, but... And I was like, out, get out.
Mm-hmm.
And she left.
Interesting.
And I was like, woo! I was so excited about that terrible relationship being blocked out of being able to control that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your last safe space, and then like,
Yeah.
what the hell? You can't come in here.
I was safe. What are you
Yeah.
doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I thought that was really interesting that you're saying that it like elicits
Certain behaviors, stuff
memory.
like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and certain cheeses
I
have
need to look that up.
different chemicals that work on your brain that tap into certain things and stuff like that, you know, so it makes you dream of those things depending on the cheese. It might be what's the stuff that breaks down cheese? It's like a fungus, right?
Right, something like that.
That's how it's created, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I guess the more fungus it's,
So, like, what would blue cheese do to you?
that one makes you dream crazy. It's similar to the Lancashire one.
Try it. I don't like
I'm
blue
down.
cheese.
Yeah.
Let's go get one of those big
How
old salads.
does it have to be a certain time before bed, or does it have to be your last
an hour before bed.
an hour before bed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have no problem with that either.
I have no problem eating cheese before bed.
I think it's at like, what was it, 30 grams of it? Or I forgot what. There's a certain number. But I mean, I doubt that you can like overdo it. You can eat like a quesadilla, and
Yeah.
like, yeah, that obviously works.
I would just eat it. Maybe not blue cheese, just straight. That's intense.
Yeah, I don't like blue cheese.
That's powerful. Oh, they used to have this burger that was a bacon blue burger,
Mm-hmm.
and it had bacon, blue cheese, and like, and what else? Like an onion ring or something. Oh, it's so good.
There's other foods that help you that kind of like affect the dreams too, but not nearly as much as the studies that they've done on cheese. Like I believe cherry juice was one of them.
That's delicious.
There was some other stuff that was mentioned, but the one that I was really like trying to dig into was the cheese, only because it was so available. I mean, we have a million kinds of cheese here in the U.S. You go to Walmart, it's like a whole wall of cheese. Like, what am I gonna eat today?
Yeah. Man, you could really screw yourself up if you had like a charcuterie board, huh? Of like
Probably.
cherries and cheese and like, woo!
Yeah.
My dreams are all messed up. Here, you blame it on the alcohol, and it's not even that
It's
fault.
not even that.
Mm-mm.
It's the dreams, which that probably even helps. Maybe.
Sometimes with that. The other
Could
day I
you-
was dreaming that Sal's eyeball popped out when he was looking at me. Well, he got it out, and I was like, no!
She's gonna be a pirate for now on.
Check out my eye.
Essentially, that's what you did. And so it was so vivid that I ended up looking it up the next day, and I was like,
She like, turns and opens my eyes like, do you have your eyeballs in?
oh.
Yeah, and I had like really crazy dreams, very symbolic ones. I had this one where I blew my nose and there was a booger there and it was like really shiny, but I was able to play with it, and the more I played with it, it created like these extravagant like prism shapes. You know what I mean? Like it started as
Yeah.
a cube, like the smaller it was, and it ended up being like this octahedron type of, I was like, that.
But like 3-dimensional or whatever.
Yeah, the bigger it got. So I was like, wait, this is weird,
What kind of clay are you making? Just
And it was like it was that shiny yellowish type of tinge, like translucent, and I was like, but
Anything that comes out of me, even my mucus is badass.
I was like, wow, this
That's
is
it.
crazy.
And what did you interpret from that?
I looked it up. I forgot what it meant, but I did look it up.
Interesting.
You see, and to me, it's like anything I make, even the most disgusting thing is going to be great.
I wish, yeah.
But that's how I think of like.
Yeah, I have yet to look in the toilet and be like, wow. After I blasted the
Our
whole
son
thing,
does it all the time. He's like, Mom, I made a turtle. I was like, yeah! Look at, I made a hammer.
I'm Jackson Pollock.
The swirling.
Although I don't know, man. I've seen some people do like some stuff on the walls with their poop. It's like, why would they do this in this restroom?
Oh my god. They're all smiley.
Yeah, I just.
That's some Joker shit. Oh,
Yeah.
but literally.
But
Dang.
dreams, that's a whole rabbit hole right there. I have so much stuff on that. Prophetic dreams, dreams of people that have passed, like all sorts of stuff, But that in itself can be a whole different podcast,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I want to pick your brain about that. We don't have to record it though.
The next one.
Is that it? Any final?
Tell us. Hold on. We're gonna go hot ones on this.
Okay.
Tell us what you have coming up for your. What do you have going on?
So Friday night, I got my email saying that I'm going to be at LA Comic Con again.
Nice.
So I'm excited about that.
When
but
is that?
That's not until October, the first weekend of October.
It's hard to get in there.
It's a challenge, yeah.
Congratulations.
And on top of that, it's expensive,
Oh.
It's like,
Eh.
But last year was a good year, but there was also a lot of disappointments from like a lot of people around me, and they moved my table, and I was so mad, you know, and so I was even questioning. I was like, if I don't get accepted, I'm fine with that, you know. But like now it's gonna be a different date. They have moved it because of COVID to December, but now it's going back to its original date in October, you know, and so it's kind of like it's a gamble, you know. But that's why I'm stacking it with another event that I want to do. So I'm waiting news on that one, you know, to see what happens, you know. Hoping it's the week before, or the week after, so that way I can be there for like the week and a half and stuff like that. That's October. Coming back this way, I have Tucson Comic Con and Labor Day weekend. 2 weeks before that is Las Cruces Comic Con. That's in August. I usually disappear in the summer. I hate doing events in the heat, you know. You know, both the cold and the heat. So like February and July, I usually disappear. You know, I won't have anything. I'll be actually creating stuff, trying to, you know, hopefully I can come up with something new, you know, to bring to the table for the fall Comic Cons. But the more recent thing that I signed up for that I already paid my table is at Collectibles and Things.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing but Collectibles is what it's called.
When is that one?
June 8th and 9th.
Okay.
So that one's a confirmed thing. I just paid for the table.
Where is that one?
It's at Sunland Park Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. That one has a lot of people show up. I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I want to do for that one, because I do want to get rid of a bunch of like stuff that I have. Stuff like toys and comics, and you know, I'm trying to like kind of get rid of stuff, you know. If I can get top dollar on it, then I'll get rid of it. If not, then, you know, I am going to have my artwork. I bought 2 tables, so I'm still trying to figure out how to do this, you know. It was a good return last year, so I was like, all right, I'll do it again this year. But this time, something different. You know, last year I had my parents, too. They sold a bunch of stuff, you know. They made some money. So that was kind of cool. Other than that, that's the only thing that I have confirmed. I am trying to sign up for, like, some other shows in May, so that I kind of like fill out that calendar. But so far that's what I have that's confirmed. I do want to do like, you know, like let's say the first Friday, La Parada, any other gallery shows that I get into. Yeah, and then I have somebody that's holding my artwork over in LA, so I sign up for shows over there, and then they get showcased. Depending on what gallery it is, I might fly out there and do a show out there, you know. So that's cool. Yeah, I have a few things, you know, confirmed, just the stuff that I said. Everything else is kind of like on the table.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
That was so fun. I'm happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Any final words?
Any final words? No, that's what I wanted to know, what you have coming up and how people can find you. How can people find you?
On Instagram at Chuco Chamuco. I have a website, chucochamuco.com. I have a Facebook, also it's Chuco Chamuco. I mainly use that one for fun. Max, my cat, has his own Facebook page.
Promote him.
Yeah,
tell us
it's
his.
At Max the Cat. There's a few Max the Cats out there, so it's kind of like you have to know which Max it is, you know.
Does he have a drawing of yours as Max?
No, not yet, but I make memes of him and all sorts of stuff, you know. It's mainly just the people that I know that love Max, you know, so I kind of like, yeah, he's got more friends than my coworker. I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, how many does he have?
He has like close to 70, if not already passed, you know.
Wow.
And I asked my coworker, I was like, how many friends do you have? She's like, I have 50. I was like, damn, Max has more than you? Well, I just made this one. So did Max. You know?
And then she went home and cried.
Probably.
I just want to die.
Max.
I just want to die. Oh.
So yeah, Max has a lot of fans. He's an interesting cat.
I like that he.
He's an interesting cat.
I like that he brought you
a bird.
Present. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to do like, I feel. If I ever do a show that's just, I don't know, well, let me say that I probably, at the moment, I won't do a show by myself. I don't feel I bring enough people in, but I've always felt that, like, if there's a show out there that has a good amount of people that show up, like Comic-Cons, I'll always do well for myself, you know. I want to get to the point where, like, Chuco Chamuco brings in a crowd, you know, and people want to come. I don't know if I'm there yet. I haven't roll the dice on that just yet, you know. But one day, you know, maybe that's a purpose or a thing that
definitely
find me happiness and stuff, you know.
Yeah, and how will you know when you've reached that? Do you have a certain
I roll
measurement?
the dice. No, it's whenever I roll the dice and do it, you know.
But I mean, like, do you have a measurement as to like if I've made like this much money in one show, and then I guess I don't know, like if I make this much money in one show, that means I could probably do it on my own without like help. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know if I would do that. Like, I would have probably do like an event. Like, I'd have to do like have this band, and then showcase this person that does, I don't know, like live painting, and then have my art, and then maybe have like a supporting cast. You know, it's like boxing. You know, you have the main event, but then you gotta fill that undercard too. You know, you gotta have those boxers that bring in names too. Have it in the city or in the venue that you know it'll attract people. So it's a lot of moving parts. I haven't figured that part out yet. Although me and Juan Ornelas, we threw a show together called the Popocalypse, and that one was a really good show. We threw it over Thanksgiving, not this past year, but the year before, and we had like 10 artists. Oh man, that was an awesome show. 10 artists from around here, and we've been planning a second one, and I have some ideas for a second one, but we have the venue that we threw it in the first one closed. So now we're like, all right, what venue do we do? You know, so I kind of like looked around, and I have a few ideas. So whenever that takes place, we're gonna announce it. You know,
Yeah.
but that's the only way I would figure that. Like, I guess the name would bring in, you know, but it's not just me; it's everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, I guess I don't have that thing where like I just want to showcase, and you know, I would rather also help the next generation. You know. Help the next people, because one of the ideas that I had also is to bring in people that had never done a show. You know,
Nice.
like, hey man, come on, dude, do a show. You know, I had to pull teeth a few times. You know, come on. You know, but it was awesome. You know, because they got out there and showcasing their art, and they sold and everything. You know, they got their following and made them feel good too. You know, among like established artists.
Yeah.
You know, usually the established artists just stick to their own established or other established artists. So it's like, you know, I don't want to do that. I want to be able to bring in, you know, like the way they brought me in, like the way other people brought me in. Yeah, this guy's never done a show. Yeah, okay, well, put yourself right there, you know, sell your stuff. I was like, cool, you know, thanks. Thank you so much. I'm always grateful for those people.
Dang. My gears are turning for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, at Chucochamuco or chucochamuco.com. That's where you can find me.
All right. Well, thank you. Everyone else can visit us at www.omni-versal.com. Email us info@omni-versal.com. Find us on Instagram at Versal Arts. We're on Threads, YouTube. Sign up for our email. Check out our products. And that's it. See you guys next time.
Till next time.
Yes.
Bye.